Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. So, what do people want? What do people want to discuss this morning?
Here to just listen to you. Whatever knowledge you have to impart. Just ready to listen.
Okay. Okay. So, Devarishi, you got that. You got that. Lakshmi Kuvera Homa audio. Yeah.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Okay. So is that okay? I mean, you have to.
I'm listening to it, and I'll give you feedback very soon.
Okay. All right. I think there was some discussion about nyasas. There was some discussion about nyasas, so why don't we discuss about nyasas? I'll share that screen. So previously I had made a document like this. I don't know if anybody has seen this. This a long time ago I wrote this, and it explains about the pramanas for nyasa, because some Gaudiya Vaishnavas, specifically in the Gaudiya Math and ISKCON, or the original Ajna Padati that was printed in ISKCON, had a foreword by Keshava Maharaj, who was Prabhupada's sannyas guru. And in that, he mentions that there are certain things like pranayama and nyasa, which are not conducive for, let's say, Raganuga Bhakti, or not conducive for Krishna Bhakti, in the sense that Gaudiyas are practicing it. And therefore, in the Gaudiya Math and probably in ISKCON, they don't do the nyasas. Okay? The pramana, or the proof for nyasas, is coming in Hari Bhakti Vilas, in the first part of Hari Bhakti Vilas, and everybody's got. Does everybody have a Hari Bhakti Vilas? Oops, nobody can see that. It's the book that I'm holding up.
No, Swami, I don't have.
Yeah, but you have the. Let me just turn my virtual. There you go. Now you can see that I turned my virtual background off. This book, there's a 5-volume set of Hari Bhakti Vilas in English, which everybody should have, or they should have the scan. And Devarishi, don't you even have the scan yet? You don't have the scan.
No.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I don't know what the size of files you can download in Nigeria is, but I will cut it up into smaller files for you. Okay. All right.
Okay, Swami.
Okay. So anyhow, let's look. I'm going to look at that, but let's look at it. Hari Bhakti Vilas in the 5th Vilas. Basically, what's happening, the first Vilas is about finding a guru, second Vilas is about initiation, third Vilas, he starts morning activities of getting up and going, and taking bath and doing Sandhya Vandana, going to the temple and seeing Mangalarti, and then coming home and maybe even taking another bath, or we end up in the 5th chapter, really is the place where it starts to get into the morning puja in the house or in the temple, the morning puja. And so here in the 88th verse of the 5th chapter, and let me just look it up and see if it's a quotation from anywhere. Yeah, it doesn't say that it's a quotation from any particular place, but it's an instruction by the Goswamis here. Learned authorities have declared that chanting mantras without first performing nyasa, mantra placement, is demoniac. Therefore, according to the rules and regulations of one sampradaya or tradition, one should perform the activities of nyasa before chanting the mantra. This is specifically, this is for all types of nyasas, but specifically what we call mantra nyasa. Mantra nyasa is the first, which is explained in the next, in context, in the next verse. First, one should contemplate on the rishi or the seer, the great personality who is considered to be the one that revealed the mantra. Then the chanda or the meter, the Sanskrit poetic meter of the mantra. Then the devata or the deity of the mantra, and finally the viniyoga or the purpose of the mantra. And one should touch the forehead, nose, and heart, right? When chanting the rishi, the meter, the chanda, and the heart, the devata, because naturally the Paramatma is there in the heart. So most of these mantras, of course, have got to do with Lord Narayana, Lord Krishna. So we touch the heart. But in case it's another devata, we can also touch the heart. This is just the system for indicating the deity. Then when you indicate the viniyoga or the purpose of the mantra, people do, they touch the rishi, chanda, devata, viniyoga. And they make a movement with their hands like this. Maybe I can just unshare for a second. Doing like this, please come. And so people do this. Yeah, inwards turnings. I'm not sure of exactly what the mudra is called, but that is for viniyoga. Anyway, so getting back to that. Okay, so in Chandogya Upanishad, and I think I've explained that further down here. In Chandogya Upanishad, it is also mentioned that if you don't know, if you're chanting Vedic, especially Vedic mantras, and you don't know the deity that is being addressed in the mantra, the devata of the mantra, then, and you don't know the meter, you don't know these things, then it's considered to be very bad, and you are not qualified to chant the mantra if you don't know those things. Because how are you chanting the mantra? When you chant the mantra, there's some deity, some purpose, some meter. If you don't know these things, how can you chant the mantra correctly? It's not just that we chant a mantra. It's not a magic word that we say it, and even if we don't know what it means, it's going to have some effect. Of course, Harinam may be a different thing. Okay, even people who chant Harinam. In the Bhagavatam, it says, Sankatyam parihasyam vastobam helaname vava vaikuntanama grahanam ashesha grahanam vidu. In the 6th canto, in the story of Ajamila, even he was thinking about his son. Yeah, he wasn't thinking, he didn't do the nyasa for the Narayana mantra, right? Bhadrakashram Vasi, Shriman Narayana Rishihi, Devi Gayatri Chandaha, Paramatma Devata. He didn't do these things for the Narayana mantra, but he just chanted Narayana. And he was thinking of his son. So he wasn't even thinking of the proper person he's addressing the mantra to. But still it had an effect because it was Harinam. So, but with these other mantras, many other mantras, it said the proper way to do it, the proper thing to do before chanting the mantra is to do the mantra nyasa and to know the rishi, the rishi who has revealed the mantra. We pray, first of all, mention the rishi because we're grateful to that rishi for giving us that mantra. Secondly, we have to know the meter because we have to know how to chant the mantra properly. And thirdly, we have to know the who are we addressing, which devata, which god we're addressing, which form of god or which demigod we're addressing. Excuse me. So that's the reason for doing this. If some people don't want to do it, if some Gaudiya sects specifically say they don't, you don't want to do it, you can actually cut down the time of your rituals if you don't do it every time. And there are many times in rituals where people skip this because it adds time to the ritual, right? So for instance, you might be reading Satkriya Sardipika, and every single mantra in Satkriya Sardipika, although in the latest version by the Mayapur Gurukul, I don't know if they mention all the Viniyoga mantras, all the mantra nyasas, but in the original Satkriya Sardipika book, every single mantra has the rishi, the meter, the devata, the purpose for the mantra, and the nyasa is done before saying the mantra in the original Satkriya Sardipika. So maybe they've taken that out. They've taken that out in the Mayapur Gurukul edition. And for those persons who are performing Satkriya Sardipika or any prayoga, you'll find that this will add more time if you do these things. But to do it correctly means you should actually do the nyasas. So for instance, even when we do pranayama, if we do Vedic pranayama, we use a mantra, Om, with the vyahritis, and not just 3 vyahritis. The vyahritis are usually Bhur, Bhuva, Swa. Now the word Swa, like in North India, in Shukla Yajurveda or in Gaudiya Sampradaya, in North India, they'll use the word Swa. You'll hear many devotees, they say Om Bhur Bhuva Swa. But the Krishna Yajurveda method of pronouncing Swa is Suvaha. Not just Swa, but Suvaha. So in South India, you mostly hear people say Om Bhur Bhuva Suvaha. You don't hear people saying Om Bhur Bhuva Swa. So sometimes you'll hear Gayatri mantra like that with Swa or with Suvaha. And it depends. If the person's following Krishna Yajurveda, they'll say Suvaha. That's just part of Krishna Yajurveda pronunciation. So these vyahritis are usually 3, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, and they represent the 3 levels of planetary systems. But in fact, there are also 7 levels of planetary systems. So there are words for each of the 7 planetary systems. So just like there's Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, which all emanate from Om, they come out from Om. Similarly, there are 7 vyahritis, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa, Maha, Jana, Tapa, and Satyam. These are the 7 vyahritis. So these are used in pranayama, in Vedic pranayama. So we have Omkara, we have 7 vyahritis, then we have the Gayatri mantra itself, Om Tat Savararenyam Bhargodhevasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayate. Right? This is the Gayatri mantra, verse from Rig Veda. And then we have another mantra at the end called Gayatri Siras. Gayatri Shiras. Shiras means head. So it's the Gayatri head mantra. It is Om Apo Jyoti Rasam Ritam Brahma Bhur Bhuva Suvarom. Like that. Okay, so all these mantras have to do with Vedic pranayam, right? So before you do Vedic pranayam, you have to do you're supposed to do this mantra nyas. But in fact, in Sandhya Vandanam, normally people only do it once before they do 10 pranayams, before reciting the Gayatri Japa. But as you know, every ritual that we start with Achmana, Pranayamaha, and Sankalpa. Right? Sankalpa means taking a vow and telling what you're going to do. The first thing is Achmana. So we don't need to go into Achmana right now. Sankalpa we don't need to go into right now, but let's talk about Pranayamaha. Before Pranayamaha, we have a mantra that we're going to chant. That we have many mantras we're going to chant. We're going to chant Omkara. We're going to chant the 7 vyahritis. We're going to chant the Gayatri mantra, and we're going to chant this Gayatri Siras mantra. So there should be nyasas for each one. There should be a rishi for each one. There's a rishi for each one. Excuse me, I need something to keep my throat from seizing up. There's a rishi for each one. There's a meter for each one. There's a devata for each one, a god for each one. And then there's also a purpose, right? So, Pranavasya. Pranavasya means Omkara. Pranavasya Rishi Brahma, Devi Gayatri Chandaha, Paramatma Devata, right? So for the pranava, for the Omkara, A-U-M, Om, Pranavasya Rishi Brahma, the Rishi is, the seer is Brahma. Pranavasya Rishi Brahma, Devi Gayatri Chandaha, the meter is Devi Gayatri, is the name of the meter. There are different meters. There are 7 basic meters in Sanskrit. Gayatri, Ushnik, Anustub, Tristub, Jagati. Maybe I've got it wrong. 5. Gayatri, Anustub. Anyway, there's many different meters in Sanskrit. Anyway, so this one is called Gayatri, but not just Gayatri, Devi Gayatri. It's a type of Devi Gayatri. It's a type of meter in Sanskrit. We can go into meters some other time if you want to talk about meters. So, Pranavasya Rishi Brahma, Devi Gayatri Chandaha, Paramatma Devata. The deity for Omkara is the Paramatma, the Supreme Lord, Krishna, Himan Narayana. So that's Om for Omkara. We did for Omkara. So, Asya Sriman, Pranavasya Rishi Brahma, Devi Gayatri Chandaha, Paramatma Devata. Then you say Bhur Adi, Bhur. So Bhur Bhavaswa Mahajana Tapasatyam. Bhur Adi. Adi means etc. Bhur Adi. So Bhur etc. meaning those 7 Vyahritis. Bhur Bhavaswa Mahajana Tapasatyam. Right? Bhur Adi Sapta Vyahritinam. Sapta means 7. Vyahritinam means of the Vyahritis. That's the special name that those words have. Is called a Vyahriti, which mentions the different planetary systems. Bhuradi Saptavyaritinam, right? You touch it. Bhuradi Saptavyaritinam, Atri, Brigu, Kutsa, Vishishta, Gotama, Kasyapa, Angirishaha, Rishayaha. Rishayaha means these rishis. So, Bhuradi Saptavyaritinam, Atri, Brigu, Kutsa, Vishishta, Gotama, Kasyapa, Angirishaha. These are the 5, excuse me. I left some out, I think. So, Buradi, Saptavyaritinam, Atri, Brigu, Kutsa, Vishishta, Gotama, Kasyapa, Angirasa, Vishva Deva, Devataha. So, Indra and Vishva Devas are also added. Yeah. So, these 7 Devata. So, Pranavasya Rishi Brahma Devi Gayatri Chandaha Paramatma Devata, Bhuri Saptavyaritina Matribiyu Kutsa Vishishta Gotama Kasyapa Angarisha Rishaya. Gayatri, Ushnik, Anustub, Briti, Pankti, Tristub, Jagatya, Chanda, Gumsi. These are the meters. Agni, Vayu, Arka, Vagisha, Vaga, Isha, Varuna, Indra, Deva, Devata. Right? These are all the Devatas. For each one, there's a Devata. And, right, Gayatri Shira Brahma Rishihi, Gayatri Vishwamitra Rishihi, Gayatri Chandaha, Paramatma Devata, and Gayatri Shira Brahma Rishihi, Anustub Chandaha. Gayatri Shira is Anustub Chandaha, it's a meter of Anustub and Paramatma Devata. Pranayami Viniyogaha. All of these are used for pranayami. The Viniyoga at the end is the purpose of all of these is to do pranayama. So I didn't put this. If you look at the Sandhyavandanam, simple Sandhyavandanam sheets that I sent out, and also the Sandhyavandana video, in the Sandhyavandanam video, I actually do the nyasa. But I didn't put it in the PDF. I didn't put it in written form because it's a little bit more complicated. So I just left that out. But if anybody wants to do that, that's what people do. But now, coming to normally, so that's in Sandhyavandanam, before Gayatri Japa, you're going to go through that full nyasa. But at other times, because pranayama is so common, when people start a puja, they do achamana, then they immediately have to do pranayama, and they don't do the nyasa usually before every pranayama, because there's so many times that you have to do achamana and pranayama, that you'll be doing this will add to the ritual a lot of time to do the nyasa each time. But at least the first time when you do it, or when you do it during Sandhyavandanam before Gayatri Japa, then that's when people will do it. So Most of the time, though, when you have a specific mantra in the ritual that you're going to use for a specific purpose in the ritual, you have to do this nyasa placement. So this is called mantra nyasa. Now, apart from mantra nyasa, that's the first type of nyasa. Apart from that, there are other types of nyasas. And I gave a document the other day, I uploaded onto WhatsApp, with some of the nyasas which are done according to Hari Bhakti Vilas. And one of the first nyasas which is done is a thing called matrika nyasa. The matrikas, matrika means mothers. They are the expansions of Saraswati for each letter of the Sanskrit alphabet. So each letter of the Sanskrit alphabet is a personality, is a goddess. And in order to chant the mantras correctly, we're supposed to take, first of all, permission from Saraswati and from all the forms of all the goddesses that are the forms of all the letters in the Sanskrit alphabet before we chant any mantra using those letters or those sounds. So this matrika nyasa is a long nyasa of 50, touching 50 parts of the body and meditating upon the 50 or so letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. And this is something that comes first. This is a very orthodox thing in Tantra Shastra or in Agamas, like we are performing most of our things according to Pancharatra Agamas. In Agama Shastra, in Tantra Shastra, this matrika nyasa is a thing which comes up quite often. So there are many books quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas, like Sharda Tilaka. It mentions about this matrika nyasa. So even Kramadipika, which is most of the ritualism in Hari Bhakti Vilas, is based on a book called Kramadipika, which was written by a person, an acharya of the Nimbarka Sampradaya called Keshava Kashmiri. His name was Keshava, and he was from Kashmir. And he was a big Pandit. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, you know the story that this Pandit from Kashmir, Keshava Kashmiri, he was supposed to argue with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a young boy as Nimai Pandit. He was a great Pandit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Keshava Kashmiri was supposed to argue with him, but somehow or other he had a dream, and Saraswati said, no, this is the Supreme Lord, don't argue with him, you'll lose. So this Keshava Kashmiri never discussed with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But anyhow, there are other histories about Keshava Kashmiri. He's an acharya of the Nimbarka Sampradaya. But so his name is Keshava, he comes from Kashmir, and there's a big tradition of Tantrism in Kashmir. But most of the Tantra that we hear about in Kashmir is Shaiva Tantra or Shakta Tantra, which has to do with the worship of Shiva or Devi. But there is also in Kashmir Vaisnava Tantra or Vaisnava Agama in Kashmir, but it's very less understood. And so this Keshava Kashmiri wrote this book called Kramadipika, and all of the Kramadipika, it focuses on a particular mantra that is the 18-syllable Gopal mantra of the Gaudiya Sampradaya, which is used by Gaudiya Sampradaya, Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. So this is the main mantra used in that. So in Hari Bhakti Vilas, the Goswamis, they took the information from Kramadipika on Diksha, on Puja, on Purascharya. Purascharya means the process after Diksha, after mantra Diksha, where you take the mantra and you perfect the mantra and you become a mantra siddha. You become perfect in chanting the mantra by the process of Purascharana. Purascharana or Purascharya, it means the same thing. And that is covered in chapters. The Diksha is covered in chapter 2 of Hari Bhakti Vilas. In chapters 5 to 8, you have the puja, daily puja of the according to Gopal, using Gopal mantra of Lord Krishna. And then in chapter 17, later on, you have a section which explains to you how to get the perfection of the mantra of this Gopal mantra, Purascharana, Purascharya. And all of these sections, and even some sections about the pratishta, the installation of the deity according to using Gopal mantra, is coming from Kramadipika. This is a very important book that is quoted by the Goswamis and written by Keshava Kashmiri, and it comes from the Vaisnava Tantric school from Kashmir, Kashmir Tantra, Vaisnava Tantra. So in that, there are many, many nyasas, many different types of nyasas. So that first nyasa, after the mantra nyasa, the first complex nyasa is matrika nyasa, to pray to Saraswati to get permission to use all the different letters of the alphabet, all of which are her expansions, and then in the form of mantras. Then after that, there's one called Keshavadi Nyasa. So Keshavadi Nyasa means there are different forms of the Lord beginning with Keshava. The word Adi means beginning with. So it's sort of like means etc. So when you say Keshavadi, it means Keshava, etc. So Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana, like the names we have for Tilak or the names we use in Achamana. There are many names of Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana or Lord Krishna. So this Keshavadi Nyasa, touching the word Nyasa also means placement. So Nyasa means placement. It can mean surrender also. Surrender, why does surrender and placement mean the same thing? Because when we surrender to somebody, we place our head at their feet. So if you go and you place your head at somebody's feet, that's surrender. The highest part of your body is at the lowest part of their body. So you're accepting shelter from them by paying your obeisances and touching your head to their feet or touching your head to the ground in front of their feet. That is called surrender. That's an outward expression of surrender. Of course, within your heart, you have to think, I'm taking shelter of this person, so that is surrender. So that's why the word nyasa, which technically literally means placement, it just means placement, has come to mean also surrender. Okay, so nyasa in this sense is in the original sense of the word placement. We are placing the syllables of the mantra on different parts of the body. And those syllables, as we said, are all different forms, expansion forms of the goddess Saraswati. So she is going to empower us to be able to chant the mantra correctly. So you can think about it like this, that we want to worship Krishna, or we want to worship any deity, or we want to worship the Supreme Lord. And in order to worship the Supreme Lord, we need a body. We need hands and we need a body which is perfectly pure. In order to make the body and the hands perfectly pure, we want to add names of Krishna, just like when we, after we take bath, we put tilak and we say the different names of the Lord, and this purifies the body with the names of the Lord. Similarly, in the nyasa, we are doing the same sort of thing. In fact, we can say that tilak, putting on tilak, is a form of nyasa, right? Putting on tilak is a form of nyasa. It's not just, the most important thing in tilak is not actually the tilak. Of course, tilak is very nice because it's a sacred type of clay, or we can use dirt from tulsi. There are many auspicious items that we can use for tilak. But the most important thing for tilak is actually the mantra. Because the mantra is the name of God. Just like the same thing with Achamana. Achamana is purifying us. The water is purifying us. But more importantly than the water is the mantra, the names of God that we say when we sip the water. So everything in ritualism has to do with mantra. Mantra is most important in ritualism. And the most important mantras are, of course, names of God. Harinam. So when we do Achamana, Keshavaya Namaha, Narayana Namaha, Madhavaya Namaha, that's the most important thing. When we put Tila, Keshavaya Namaha, Narayana Namaha, Madhavaya, that's the most important thing. When we do Nyasa, the mantras are most important thing. We Om Keshava Kirtaya Namaha. When we do Keshavadi Nyasa, Keshava and Kirti, it'll say there'll be one name of the Lord and one name of his consort also in this Nyasa. And also, when we do Nyasas, a lot of times we use not only the names of the Lord, but we use Bij mantras. So a Bija mantra is a seed mantra. the seed of a mantra is we take the name of the mantra, we take the first syllable, and we separate it. That is the seed, because from a word, the word grows out of the first letter, right? When we pronounce a word, we pronounce the first letter first. If I want to say Ramachandra, I have to start with Ra. So Ramachandra, yes? So the root of Ramachandra is Ra. So the root of Krishna is Krishna. The root of Govinda, Govinda, yes? So the root syllable, if we take the root syllable, if we want to take that mantra and we want to find out what is the cause of that, what is the seed of that mantra, we take the first syllable and we add certain sounds to it, like Anushwara and Visarga. In previous classes, I was explaining about the Sanskrit alphabet. So in the Sanskrit alphabet, we have a couple of interesting sounds which are not considered to be exactly letters. One is called Anushwara, which is that M with a dot on top or underneath, which is pronounced like ma or like M, or depending on whether you're in South India or North India, and the aha, the echo, the H with the dot, which is called Visarga in Sanskrit. So this Visarga, Anuswara and Visarga are two sounds. When we take the first syllable of a name in a mantra, or the first syllable of a mantra, and we add that Anushwara or Visarga to it, we get what is called a Bija mantra. Mostly they add the Anushwara. So for instance, we just had Narasimha's appearance, and I just put out this Narasimha Pratyanga mantra. And in the beginning of the Pratyanga mantra, in the beginning of each statement, we take one syllable from the Anustub. Anustub means the sloka, the 32 syllables of the mantra Raj of Narasimha, Ugram Vira Mahavishram Jwalantam Sarvatomukam, Simham Bhishanam Badram Mitram Mitram Namamiham. We take each syllable, take it away, and add the Anushwar to it. So first we say Gram, Vim, Shnam, Ugram Viram, Ram, right? Gram. So the first syllable of Ugra is U. Add Anushwar, it becomes First syllable of, then the next syllable is Gra, Ugram, right? So then Gram, then Viram, so Vim, Ram. So all these different bija mantras come out, which are the essence of the words. But specifically, mostly when we make a bij, we take the first letter of the word. So for instance, if we have Ganesha or Ganapati, the Mula mantra for Ganapati includes a bija mantra for Ganapati. So Ganapati or Ganesha starts with the letter Ga. Ga. So we take Ga and add M to it. Gum. Gum Ganapataye Namaha. Gum Ganeshaya Namaha. Right? That is the bij mantra for Ganapati. If we have, like for instance, Goddess Lakshmi, Sri Devi. So the word in dative case to Sri Devi is Shriye. So Shriye Namaha means obeisances to Sri Devi, obeisances to Lakshmi. Shriye Namaha. And what would be the bija mantra? The bija that goes before Shriye Namaha, we take Shri, which is the first syllable, Shri, first letter, and we add M to it. Shreem. Shreem Shriye Namaha. Shreem Shriye Namaha. Right? With Krishna, we have the Ri and Lri in Sanskrit can be transposed. So the Kri in Krishna becomes Kli. And Kli, we add Kli, Kleem. We add the M to it, it becomes Kleem. So Kleem Krishnaya Namaha. Kleem Krishnaya Namaha. So Kleem is the Krishna bij, right? Now there are some, when we talk about bijas, there are some exceptions. And we talked about that before. For instance, the bija for Narasimha according to the general rule, we should take the word nri, which is the first letter of Narasimha, nri, N-R dot, right? The R dot, R-I is pronounced ri, so nri. So nri, we would say rim Narasimhaya namaha, or nam Narasimhaya namaha, right? If it's Narasimha, we would say nam Narasimhaya namaha, or Nrisimhaya namaha, right? Because there are two words, Narasimha and Nrisimha, and they mean the same thing. But because he's very angry, we use another bija mantra which has to do with anger, and that is shrom. Shrom. Because the letters K, S, Ksha mean destruction. Like in the word Kshatriya in Sanskrit, the Ksha indicates destruction. Just like in the word Diksha, initiation, Diksha, Ksha means destruction. Because in Diksha, the definition of Diksha is Divya Jnanam Yato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Sankshayam. Sankshayam means destruction. So Papasya Sankshayam, your sin is destroyed in Diksha, is the definition of Diksha. So Divya Jnanam Yato Dadyat. Dadya means to give. So what is given in Diksha, the definition of Diksha is there's a process by which divine knowledge, Divya Jnanam, is given in the form of mantra, and Papa or sin is destroyed. Papa Sankshayam. That is known as Diksha. And there's some other verses that give the definition of Diksha like that too. So whenever we see this Ksha in Sanskrit, it means destruction. Why does Ksha mean destruction in Sanskrit? Because many times that this letter Ksha, KS dot, right? KS dot A, right? Ksha, it comes at the end of the Sanskrit alphabet. So whereas the first letter is A, is considered to be creation, the last letter is considered to be destruction. So for instance, in English, we say alpha, omega, which is actually the first letter of the Greek alphabet and the last letter of the Greek alphabet. But in English, we understand that if we say alpha, it's common understanding, alpha to omega means everything. It means from the beginning to the end. Alpha is the beginning, the first letter of the Greek alphabet, and omega is the end, the last letter of the Greek alphabet. So, for instance, there is also, some people say there's a book called The Omega Man, means the last man living on the earth or something like that. The Omega bomb, the greatest weapon or something, you know. So, in the same way, with the Sanskrit alphabet, A is considered to be Lord Vishnu, and Ksha, and the creator. It can also be Brahma, and at the end, Ksha is the last letter. If we go through the Sanskrit alphabet, we get Shasha, Shasha, and then Ksha. Some people add Ksha, this KS dot A at the end. That's the last letter that we put in many of these nyasas. Sometimes you see it also in yantras. So because it's considered the end, it's considered to be destruction. So Shrom is a bija for Narasimha because he means destruction, because he killed Hiranyakashipu. Similarly, we have other bij like Aim, A-I-M, A-I Anuswara, A-I-M with the dot. I'm. We say I'm Gurave Namaha, or we say I'm Saraswatye Namaha. So it is Saraswati bija. It's a bija for Saraswati. So usually if we have the guru, the word guru in the dative case, obeisances to the guru is Gurave Namaha. Gurave Namaha. So with a general rule, we could take the first letter of guru, and we could add a M to it. So it could be Gum Gurave Namaha. Gum Gurave Namaha. That would be the general method of making a guru bija. Gum. Right? Gum. But because the guru gives knowledge, we use Saraswati bij. That is Aim. Aim is Saraswati bij. It comes from Saraswati. And so we say Aim Gurave Namaha. Also with Saraswati, we could say Sam. Sam Saraswati Namaha. Take S and put the Anushwara, Sam Saraswati Namaha. But we don't, because we use the Bija mantra for knowledge, Aim. So Aim Saraswati Namaha. So there are some exceptions. There's a general rule to making Bija mantras, and there's an exception. Now, getting back to Nyasa, it's very important sometimes to use Bija mantras. Bija, the Bija, or the seed, Bija means seed in Sanskrit. The Bija contains all the potency of the full mantra, but in very short form. So many times we want to do things in a very short form.
Could I ask something really quickly?
Sure, please ask.
Okay, so you just mentioned the Guru Bija, Aim Gurave Namaha.
Correct.
So I've noted in ISKCON we have we use some different Bija mantras for different, like, you know, for the predecessor spiritual master, you know, Idam Parama Gurave Namaha, like that. But is that okay, or should actually we be using the same Bija mantra for all? Like if we're talking about our own initiating spiritual master, you know, Aim Gurave Namaha, but then also Srila Prabhupada, you know, could it also be Aim Gurave Namaha? Should it be, or is it okay to use these different Bija?
If we look in the Padatis, it's a good question. If we look in the Padatis, in the Archana Padatis of different Gaudiya Maths, and even ISKCON, we see a list of Mula mantras. Sometimes they'll list, Aim Gurave Namaha is for the Guru. Now, that means all Gurus. So not necessarily only the Diksha Guru, but also the Shiksha Guru. Any Guru, any person who's your direct Guru, direct teacher, that the mantra Aim Gurave Namaha applies to that person. Secondly, you have the next Guru, the Param Guru. Param Guru means the Guru of your Guru. So if you have a teacher, if that teacher has learned from somebody else, that is called a Param Guru. So sometimes we'll see the Mula mantra for a Param Guru as Om Parama Gurave Namaha. Mm-hmm. Then we'll say Om Parat Para Gurave Namaha, which is the Guru of the Param Gurus, the Param Guru's Guru, the third in line Guru. And the fourth in line Guru is sometimes called Parameshti Guru. So you have Aim Gurave Namaha, Om Parama Gurave Namaha, Om Parat Para Gurave Namaha, Om Parameshti Gurave Namaha. These can be different Mula mantras that you see in Gaudiya Archana Padatis sometimes. In fact, you're getting knowledge from all these gurus. You're either directly or indirectly, thank you for muting there, Rishi. Either directly or indirectly, you're getting knowledge from all these gurus in your Guru Parampara. And you have many Guru Paramparas because you have a Guru Parampara. Usually when we say Guru Parampara, we mean Diksha Guru Parampara. But you also may have a Shiksha Parampara. For instance, Sripad Ramanujacharya, he had 5 gurus. Only one of them was his Diksha Guru, of course, because you can only have one Diksha Guru. But he had a guru that he went to for learning Ramayana, a guru he went to for learning the songs of the Alwars. So he went to different gurus to learn different things. And those gurus had a parampara of people that they had studied those books with, specifically studied those texts. So maybe you study a particular text from a particular guru and he has studied it from another guru, then you have a different parampara for that. It doesn't mean there's going to be any conflict, but all of these people are your gurus, and all of those people are their gurus or your param gurus, and so on. So it's like a tree that there's one trunk and there's many branches and many leaves. So the Guru Parampara, if you count Shiksha Paramparas, the Guru Paramparas can be very, very complex. So normally people only talk about the Diksha Parampara because that's easy, main trunk of the tree, say, for instance, right? But this syllable Aim is Saraswati Bija, refers to knowledge. So any guru, what is the definition of guru? Guru means darkness and Ru means light. So one who takes you from darkness to light in any way, right, is guru, is a teacher. So the teacher gives knowledge, and therefore we can use the Saraswati Bij for any of these gurus. So it's not wrong. It's not wrong to say, I'm Gurave Namaha. It's also not wrong to say Om Gurave. If we use the word Om is a general Bij mantra. It's a general Bij mantra. It's always used. You can always use Om, right? You can always use Om. If you don't know how to worship a deity, you can just take the name of the deity, put it in the dative case unto that deity, right? And you can add Namaha and you can put Om in the beginning. Or you can create a Bija mantra by the general method of taking the first syllable and adding Anushwara. So for instance, in Germany, I had to install this deity of Prahlad Narasimha. So the question is, what is the mantra for Prahlada? Narasimha, I know the mantra. But Prahlada, what is the mantra for Prahlada? Mula mantra. So Prahlada, the first letter of his name is Pra. If I add M to that, the Anushwara to that, I get Pram. So Pram, I can say Om Prahladaya Namaha, no problem. Or I can make the Bija mantra Pram Prahladaya Namaha. Pram Prahladaya Namaha. Similarly, if I want to worship Prahlad and Narasimha together, I can make it combined Mula mantra. Mula means root, right? Mula means root. Bija means seed. The root comes from the seed. First you have a seed, the seed grows into a root, and the root grows into a tree, right? So first of all, we have the seed. So Pram, Prahladaya Namaha. If I want to combine with Shrom, Nrisimhaya Namaha, right? Shrom, Nrisimhaya Namaha, or Shrom Narasimhaya Namaha, let's say, whatever. Want to combine them, worship them together. First of all, I'm going to put Prahlad and Narasimha together, and I'm going to say Prahlad, instead of Prahladaya and Narasimhaya, I'm going to say Prahlad and Narasimhabhyam, which instead of Aya, I have to say Abhyam, which is the dual for two people. Prahlad and Narasimha, that's the dative and dual number, two people, right? In Sanskrit, you have three numbers. You have singular, dual, and plural. So if there were three, if there was Lakshmi, I would say Prahlad Lakshmi Narasimha Bhyo, right? Aya, Abhyam, Abhyaha is the different endings in Sanskrit. Anyway, that's technical. But you take Prahlad and Narasimha. Prahlad Narasimhabhyam Namaha. Prahlad Narasimhabhyam Namaha. But what about the Bija mantras to come first? You know the one for Narasimha. What is the one for Prahlad? Prahlad is Pram. You could use Om. So you can say Om Shrom Prahlad Narasimhabhyam Namaha. Or you can say Pram Shrom Prahlad Narasimhabhyam Namaha. Narasimhabhyam Namaha. Pram Shrom. And if you add Lakshmi, you want to worship Lakshmi as well, as long as Prahlad, Lakshmi, and Narasimha all together, then first you're going to have Pram, Shrim, Shrom. Prahlad, Lakshmi, Narasimhabhyam Narasimhabhyo Namaha. Right? So you have to know a little bit about Sanskrit, but actually to create these Mula mantras and to create these Bija mantras, usually you don't have to worry. It'll be written in a book what to do. But in case you don't have the mantra in the book, you have these general rules of mantra shastra. What I'm trying to teach you here is the general rules of mantra shastra, how to create the mantras in a general way if you don't know what the mantra is. So if you didn't know that to use Aim for Guru, you could say Gum Gurave Namaha. There's nothing wrong with Gum Gurave Namaha. There's nothing wrong with Om Gurave Namaha. But the best is Aim Gurave Namaha. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Om Keshavaya Namaha. There's nothing wrong with Om Krishnaya Namaha. Right? We say in Achamana, we say Om Krishnaya Namaha. But other times we say Klim Krishnaya Namaha. Klim Krishnaya Namaha is better than Om Krishnaya Namaha. Why? Because Om is general. It's a general Bij mantra. Klim is a specific Bij mantra. It's called the Kama Bij. Kama means love, right? So specifically for Krishna, because he's so lovable and all loving, that we use the Kama Bija for Krishna. That's why we have the Kama mantra. He's also the form of love. He is also the form of love which we know from Kamadeva Gayatri. So Kamadev, there are two Kamadevs. There is a Kamadev who is, in English we say Cupid, and we perceive this person as being, in English, in the West we perceive is a little baby with a bow and arrow, and he shoots people in the heart. Yeah. But in India, in Sanskrit, we have a person called Kamadev, who's a devata. He does the same thing. He attracts people to each other. And he also has a bow and arrow. His bow is made of sugarcane. And his arrows are made of flowers. We know this, right? How do we know this? Because it says so in his Gayatri mantra. In his Gayatri mantra. So his Gayatri mantra is Kamadevaya Vidmahe Pushpa Banaya Dhimahi Tannonanga Pachodiyat. Pushpa Banaya, Bana means arrow. Pushpa means flower. So I meditate on Kamadev, the god of love, who has arrows made of flowers, which he shoots into people's hearts with his sugarcane bow, right? There are many bees buzzing around, by the way, okay? The string of my wife was just explaining, the string of the bow is made of bumblebees, okay? And he rides on a parrot, I believe. I have to look it up. Anyway, I'll get you a picture. So if anybody wants to know, you can get a picture of Kamadev. Anyway, so, and he shoots the arrows, right, at people. And Tan Nonanga Pachodiyat. What does Nonanga mean? Anga means body or limbs, right? So Ananga, his name is Ananga. Ananga, when you put before a word in Sanskrit, it means the opposite of that word. It means not body, no body, right? So he is called body, he is called nobody. He has nobody. And why is he called nobody? Because there's a certain place in South India called Hampi, which was the king, the capital of the Vijayanagara Empire in Karnataka now, near Bellary. Hospet Bellary, yeah. So it's an old wrecked place, but there's a hill there, and on top of that hill, Lord Shiva was sitting in meditation. And in order to break his meditation, the devatas, the other gods, they wanted to break his meditation to get Shiva to do something, but he was intently meditating. And so they sent Kamadev, they sent the god of love, Cupid, to break his meditation. So when Kamadev disturbed Shiva's meditation, Shiva opened his eyes, and with his third eye, he burned Kamadev completely to ashes. So when he burned Kamadev, his body completely to ashes, he has no body anymore. So that's why, because of that pastime, he said he's called Nonanga, Noanga. He has no body. So Kamadeva Vidmahe Pushpa Banai Dhimahi Tan Nonanga Pachodiyat. This is Kamadev. So there are two Kamadevs. So one of them is the material god of love, who entices people to love each other in a material way. And then the spiritual god of love is Krishna. Lord Krishna is also equated to Kamadev. He's a type of Kamadev because the word Krishna means what? Krishna in Sanskrit means to draw or attract. It can mean some other things too. Krishna means black. It means also to plow a field is Krishna. So because he was brought up in the agricultural community of Nanda Maharaj, they were plowing fields. So he's also got to do with agriculture. But the most important meaning of the word Krishna is all attractive. The meaning of Krishna is all attractive. Karshati means to attract in Sanskrit. So Krishna comes from the verb karshati, to attract. So he's all attractive. So because he's all attractive, he is like the God of love, spiritual love. So that's why he is equated with Kamadev. So that's why Vaishnavas chant this Kamadev Gayatri. Some other people, they may be worshipping Kamadev, the demigod. They may want some material love. But the Vaishnavas, they see this Kamadev Gayatri as denoting Krishna, Lord Krishna. Kamadev Gayatri. So, to answer your question, Raghunath, in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, we use the Klim Bij. The Klim Bij is the Kama Bij. It's the seed of the love seed. In English, we'd say love seed. It's the essence of that personality is love. So there are many times in Gaudiya Vaishnavism they use the Klim Bij. They use it for Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya, Gauranga, Mahaprabhu, right? Klim Krishna, Klim Chaitanyaya Vidmahe, Vishwambarai Dhimahi, Tanno Gaura Prachodayat, or Klim Gauraya Namaha. For Nityananda, for Krishna. So in many times they use the Klim Bij. Many times they use the Shrim Bij. For Radha, just like we said Shrim Shriya Namaha for Lakshmi, the Shrim Bij, Shrim also means all auspiciousness. All wealth, all auspiciousness, Shrim. Shri means fortune. So Shrim Shriya Namaha, Shrim Ram Radhikaya, Shrim Ram Radhikaya Swaha. Ram Radhikaya. Radha would be Radhaye, Radhikaye, right? Means unto Radha or unto Radhika. The first letter is Ra. So add M, becomes the Bij mantra becomes Ram, Ram Radhikaye, Ram Radhikaye. It could be Namaha, Swaha, whatever. And before that, sometimes added to that, Shrim. Shrim Ram Radhikaye Swaha. Right? And the Swaha, the difference between Swaha, there are different ending words. Some of them don't mean very much, but they are used to end mantras. So we have Namaha, which means not to me, but to you. My obeisances to you. Namaha means respectful obeisances. Na means not. Ma means me, not me. Not me means you. Respect to you. Namaha. Swaha. Swaha, which normally is one of the wives of Agni. Like when we do a fire sacrifice, we say Swaha. Through Swaha, through the wife, we offer to Agni, and Agni takes to the other god, whoever we're offering to. So Indraya Swaha. To Indraya, we give to Swaha, she gives to Agni, he gives it to Indra. So we have this, we have Swaha. So Namaha, Swaha, Vasate, Vosate, Hum, Kavachaya Hum, and Put, which some people wrongly pronounce as Put, Pate. You can say Pate because that T at the end, we need to make it, emphasize it so we can say Pate. So Maha Astraya Pate. This is a mantra that you use in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Before you do puja, you have to close the directions and put a force field around yourself and keep all the bad influences out. So you say Maha Astraya Pate in different directions. So, okay, so these are different things that end mantras. Now, technically in Mantra Shastra, there's a difference between the endings, these ending words. One difference is we use Namaha if it's a neuter mantra, if the mantra is neuter. If the mantra is a feminine mantra, and there's a feminine mantra doesn't mean that the god or that it's addressed to is feminine, but it has to do with grammar and it has to do with Mantra Shastra. It's a technical thing. We can get into it in another session or something like that. but Swaha makes the mantra more feminine. So sometimes you'll see certain mantras have Swaha at the end. It makes the mantra more feminine. And Namaha makes it more neuter. And some of these other endings make it more masculine. So it has to do, if you want to study Mantra Shastra, there are books on Mantra Shastra which explain the exact meanings sort of these ending words. But these are words which are used to ending mantras. And of course, we know when we're offering into the fire, when we offer a mantra into the fire, we have to add Swaha. When we're offering puja to a deity, we have to add Namaha. So the same deity, if we have a deity and we're offering flowers or offering something, Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha, but if we're offering to that same deity in the fire, it'll be Keshavaya Swaha, Narayana Swaha, Madhavaya Swaha. So I think today we have covered in brief a little bit about Nyasa, a little bit about Mantra Shastra, and a little bit about the different types of mantras and how they begin with the Bija mantras, then have the name of the deity in the dative case, and end with certain mantras from Mantra Shastra like Namaha Swaha, Vasate, Vosate, Hum, and Pate. So, do we have any other questions on that subject?
So one thing I wasn't clear, sorry, this is a different topic. Is that okay?
Sure.
What you were talking about earlier,
Yep.
You were talking about the nyasas, and just a thought is, I don't know, maybe you said it and I missed it. I'm sorry. Do all mantras have nyasas, or is it only particular mantras, like major mantras, or is it that when you're doing a ceremony, even if you're chanting, some Shanti mantra for for peace or whatever, that there's also a nyasa for that as well?
Okay, it's a good question. Every line of the Vedas has got a different rishi, a different devata, right? And there's a book, and it will have a meter also, because it's not prose, it's poetics. And there's a book called Brihad Devata, where somebody has compiled the meters, the devatas, and the rishis for each mantra in the Vedas. And a lot of times when you get a copy of the Vedas, different Samhitas, when you open it up and you look at a particular sukta like Purusha Sukta, you'll see in the beginning, before the sukta, it'll say who the rishi is and what the meter is. And there'll be, and sometimes when people do parayana, when they're chanting those mantras, they'll do the nyasa, the mantra nyasa for that. And it's actually the best thing. It's a proper thing. And sometimes people don't do it. And when we say, is there a nyasa for every mantra? Yes. So as far as Vedic mantras is concerned, yes. As far as other mantras also, there should be.
Okay.
And if there isn't, you can create it. For instance, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right? Do we know what the nyasa is for Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Well, we can figure it out, right? We look, where is Hare Krishna mantra coming from? It's a Vedic mantra coming from Kali Shantaranya Upanishad. Mm-hmm. And in fact, in most of the oldest, in some editions it comes Hare Krishna first, some editions it comes Hare Rama first. The oldest editions usually Hare Rama first. In South India, normally people chant this Hare Rama first. In North India, they chant Hare Krishna first. Okay, either way. Prabhupada didn't care either way. One time in Hyderabad, people were asking this question and he said, it doesn't matter. If you chant, it comes around to the other thing. It'll come around, right? If you chant it. So, it comes in Kali Shantaranya Upanishad in a discussion between Narada and Brahma. And Brahma is the one who gives the mantra. So,
Okay. So Brahma is the Rishi.
so if we say Asya Sri Hare Krishna Mahamantrasya Brahma Rishihi, right? Then what is the meter of the mantra? The meter is Anustub. Anustub is a verse with 32 syllables. So, Asya Sri Hare Krishna Mahamantrasya Brahma Rishihi Anustub Chandaha Sri Krishna Devata or Sri Radha Krishna Devata, right? Whoever you think, whoever you're addressing it to. Maybe somebody's chanting Om Asya Sri Hare Rama Mahamantrasya Brahma Rishihi Anustub Chandaha Brahma Rishi Anustub Chandaha Sri Ramo Devata. He might say, I'm chanting this for Rama. Another person might be chanting it for Krishna. Somebody might be chanting it like that. See, if he's meditating on Krishna and chanting it, or Radha Krishna and chanting it, then he can say Sri Radha Krishna Devata, right? And then what is the purpose of chanting? You know, we can say, what is the purpose? Somebody may say moksha pradashan. Moksha is the purpose. Somebody might say, oh, prema, Krishna prema, right? Krishna prema viniyogaha, right? So we can say, Om Asya Sri Hare Krishna Mahamantrasya Brahma Rishihi Anustub Chandaha Sri Radha Krishna Devata Krishna Prema Radha Krishna Prema Viniyogaha, right? This is just off the fly, off the top of my head. I've never seen this written anywhere, but this is the like a sankalpa. When we do sankalpa, we're saying, I am determined to do this particular thing in this particular way. So it's like a sankalpa for the mantra. When you start, like a vow for the mantra, I know this mantra was given by Brahma. Thank you, Brahma, for giving the mantra. I know the meter for chanting the mantra. It's Anustub. I know the gods, or the different forms of the Lord who I'm meditating upon as the prayer of this mantra, the object of the subject of the prayer of this mantra, and I know the purpose for why I'm chanting the mantra. I want Krishna prema. So I'm just externally, I'm being very conscious. I'm being very Krishna conscious about what I'm doing. It helps my meditation, and then I start chanting. And maybe before chanting, I have a dhyana mantra. After I do the mantra nyasa, I could say, Om Asya Sri Hare Krishna Mahamantrasya Brahma Rishihi Anustub Chandaha Sri Radha Krishna Devata, right? Sri Radha Krishna Prema Viniyogaha, right? And then dhyanam, I can meditate, and I can say, Divyad Vrindavana Kalpa Durmadya Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasto Sri Radha Govinda Devo Prestalibi Sevyamanu Smarami. I meditate upon Radha and Krishna underneath the Kalpavriksha tree in Vrindavan, and now I'm going to chant. And then Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then at the end of chanting the japa, or doing the puja, or whatever it is, using the mantra, or doing the homa, doing a homa, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Swaha. Sri Radha Krishna Namama, for Radha Krishna, not for me. Yeah. And after finishing everything, then again, there are some procedures at the end of japa, at the end of puja, at the end of homa. There are some procedures which are little niceties to finish it off. Valediction of Radha Krishna. Asking them to come and be present. Valediction means allowing them to go wherever they wish to go. After it's finished, and just thanking them and finishing off, and then we'll say some mantras for forgiveness of any mistakes that we made. Mantrahinam, kriyahinam, bhaktihinam, jana jana, yat pujiram maya deva paripuram talastume, etc. Some of these mantras that I gave yesterday in the WhatsApp, I uploaded. Yadaksharam param brasta, that if I have made any mistakes in my pronunciation, please forgive that. And finally, Shri Krishna Paramastu. At the end, Shri Krishna Krishna Krishna. So in this way, you can make a whole prayoga, take the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, use it for puja, use it for homa, use it for dhyana, and use it in so many ways, and then finish it off very nicely. You can make a whole prayoga step by step, and you can do this for any mantra. You can do this for any mantra, any form of God, any devata. You can do it, if you know enough about mantra shastra, how to combine the different things, a little bit of Sanskrit grammar, and you can put it all together. You can make yourself your own prayogas. So that's the hope that I have, is that these things, even if we don't find, for instance, we may not find, somebody may say, oh, we want to worship Bhakti Devi, or we want to worship Tulsi, or we want to worship, but we don't have any book that we bought or found, any shastra. Somebody says, I want to worship Ananga Manjari. Okay, how do you do that? How will you do that? What will be her mantra? What will be her dhyana? What will be her bija? What will be her mantra nyasa? What will be the procedure for doing all that? You can put it all together if you don't know, with all the general rules of mantra shastra. You can put it all together and you can create a procedure which is following the general rules of mantra shastra, and you can perform that worship. In case you don't have, a specific procedure which is written in the shastra for you. And that is also described in Hari Bhakti Vilas. In Hari Bhakti Vilas, at the end of the first Vilas, it says, in case there are some need for some mantras to be made, they can be made. And there's a system for making the mantra, making up a new mantra, according to, you have to know the Sanskrit grammar, and you have to know different things, and you have to put them together. And then you have to, just like creating a child, you have to perform the different samskaras for the mantra before you use it. And there are some people who go to that length of not only worshipping Saraswati before using any of the letters of a mantra, but also they worship the mantra, the syllables of the mantra. They worship each of the syllables of the mantra with upacharas, with like this 16 upacharas, padya, agya, achmaniya, like this, to each of the syllables of the mantra before they use it. Not just putting it on the body. When we put the mantras on the body, we're creating, it's like putting on a shield, or putting on a cloth made of mantra, putting a covering on our body of mantra and our hands of mantra, like putting mantra gloves on before we touch the deity. So we're not actually touching the deity. Krishna is touching himself. We are not actually worshiping Krishna. Krishna is worshiping himself, because we make our body so pure with all of these names of Krishna, names of the Lord, all these different mantras. The idea is to make yourself as pure as possible, not just by taking a physical bath. Yeah, we have to go and take a physical bath with soap and whatever. We have to put tilak and we have to put all these things. But we also have to mantrically, we have to make everything pure with mantra, ritually pure, become ritually pure, and then we can worship God. So, yeah. So there are, for instance, there are deities, especially in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, like I said, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the most important thing for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and yet I've never seen a mantra nyasa for Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Whereas I've seen for Gopal Mantra, I've seen for many other mantras, but Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, I've never seen a mantra nyasa for that. But it's very easy to create one, like we just did, and for any mantra. If you want to do for some other mantra, Ram Taraka mantra, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, or some other mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya. Actually, Om Namo Narayanaya and some of these other more common mantras, ancient common mantras, they have their nyasas, and they have already been nyasas, dhyanas, everything. There are some books that you can get. I have a book which is like a dictionary of mantras, thousands of mantras on every deity, and with all nyasas and all different things. And then from the mantras also can come the yantras, because you take the mantras and put them in physical form on a piece of metal in a certain diagram, and it can be worshipped as a deity. Yeah. Or you have a deity and you have to install it, but you have to do it with the mantra. So mantra at every step, mantra shastra is important to know mantra shastra in any step. So whether you're going to do physical worship of a yantra or a pot or a physical deity or the fire, whatever method you're going to use, there's in Pancharatra we have 4 methods usually. It's called Chatustan Puja. Chatus means 4, Stan means place, so the worship in 4 places. The deity, so Bimba, Agni, the fire, Kumbha, the pot, and Mandala. There's a mandala, and on the mandala there's different deities. Just like when you do Vastu Puja, you have a Vastu Mandala, where you have Vastu lying there, and you have 45 demigods sitting on his back to keep him down, right? And you have to install those 45 deities to keep him down, because the whole idea in Vastu Puja is to satisfy Vastu, because if you let him up, he will eat everything.
Wow, I never knew it was 45.
Yeah, so, yeah, at least 45. There's actually some mandalas that have more. But Vastu, there's a story in Hari Bhakti Vilas quotes from Agni Purana, and we can go into it some other time. But in Agni Purana gives a story of how Shiva was fighting somebody, and some sweat came from Shiva's head, and the sweat came down and turned into a son, one of his sons. And that son is Vastu. So Vastu is a sweat child of Shiva. And Vastu, as soon as he was born, he said, I'm hungry, right? So many children are like this. As soon as they're born, they want to eat something. So Shiva said, okay, what do you want to eat? And he said, I want to eat the whole universe. I want to eat everything. I'm so hungry. So all the demigods were afraid, if this guy with this appetite eats everything, then everything will be gone if he eats everything. So we have to stop him. So they all jumped on top of him and squashed him to the ground. So he couldn't eat anything. So in Vastu Puja, we have to satisfy those demigods, make sure they keep sitting on Vastu. Because otherwise, if they're not satisfied, they'll get up, and he'll get up and he'll eat all the fruit of our puja. We're doing some puja, and we're trying to get some fruit from that puja, or chant some mantra, whatever we're doing. We're trying to get some fruit from that. If you don't worship Vastu, he's going to come and take that fruit away from you. That's the benediction that he got from Shiva. And Shiva said, okay, I will make sure that there's a special Vastu Puja that people will worship you first and satisfy you first. Sort of like you hear about Ganesh Puja, you should worship Ganesh first before you, as a preliminary. Vastu Puja also, a preliminary puja, you have to satisfy the Vastu. If you don't satisfy the Vastu, he takes all the fruit of all the ceremony. Anyway, it's there in Agni Purana. So, I mean, not everybody does for every puja. Not everybody's not doing Vastu Puja first. But there are some, especially pujas that have to do with the construction of houses or temples, right? Or other buildings. They do this Vastu Puja. But there are some other ceremonies also where they do Vastu Puja first for this reason. There are other things which we do first also, like Nandi Shraddha. Why should we do Nandi Shraddha? Nandi Shraddha means we have to satisfy the forefathers, because the forefathers gave us this body, our ancestors. So the ancestors are in Pitri Loka. Hopefully Vaishnava's ancestors are in Vaikuntha or in Goloka. But the normal forefathers, if we did all the proper rituals, they've all gone to Pitri Loka, at least 3 generations of them. Once we send somebody else there, the 3rd generation back guy gets bumped out and he has to go to another birth. But the idea is that the Pitris are enjoying in Pitri Loka, but we have to get permission from them if we want to do anything. So we want to do something, we should get permission from the family, you know. So we know, you know that like you want to get married or you want to do something like that, then your parents, you ask your parents permission, and this is a normal thing that you ask your parents permission like that. But in India, you have to not only ask your parents permission, you have to ask all the ancestors. So the Nandi Shraddha, even they're not alive, you'll pray to them, please bless me that I can do this, you know. So the Nandi Shraddha is a worship of the ancestors before the beginning of some ceremony, like a marriage or whatever, Samini Samskara, to satisfy the forefathers in Pitri Loka and get their permission to go ahead with the ceremony. So these are all very common preliminary things. So Ganesh Puja, Nandi Shraddha, Vastu Puja, these are all preliminary pujas. Sometimes they become the main puja. So like there are certain days in the year when you have to worship the forefathers. There might be a few days in the year when you have to worship Ganesh, and there might be a few times in your life when you have to do some big Vastu Puja because you're building a house or a temple or something like that. But normally they're preliminary pujas. Interesting.
I have another simple question. I'm a
Sure.
little bit embarrassed to ask this one. This one's just about it's about Sandhya Vandanam. I had been putting it off for a really long time starting. It was so intimidating to me to start doing Sandhya Vandanam. But then at the beginning of this year, I started doing it. And I was too embarrassed to ask. But I
recommend people, you start doing morning. Just start doing morning.
Yeah, I started that January 1st of this year.
And then next, once you get morning together, then
Yeah.
do evening.
Okay.
Then do evening.
Yeah.
Because morning and evening, very close. And then later on, then if you want to do midday, add that last.
Okay. And that's really nice, actually, really nice advice. Because also, I mean, once I go back to work, I don't even know how I would do midday anyway.
David Rishi asked this question a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So I told the answer, and I'll tell it again very quickly. On Ekadasi, you fast, and the next day you break the fast. Or sometimes some appearance of Vishnu Tattva, you fast, and the next day you break the fast. So you have to break the fast early in the morning. But in order to break the fast, you have to have food. You have to have prasadam, because you have to eat the prasadam. And the prasadam only comes after worshipping the deity. So you have to worship the deity. And before you worship the deity, you're actually supposed to do morning and midday Gayatri, Sandhya Vandanam, before you worship the deity, and then you do worship the deity. In South India, it's like that. Because
hold on. I'm sorry. It's not sinking in. Could you just repeat that last part again?
Okay. So in ancient times, people only ate 2 times.
Okay.
The first time, there was no breakfast. People would get up, and they do all their puja stuff, and it would take till about 10:30. Then the puja would be finished. The food would be offered in the last part of the puja, and you would sit and you would have a brunch or an early lunch. That would be the main meal of the day. And then later on, in the late afternoon or early evening, before dark, there would be another meal. If so you would eat twice a day, right? There's a Sanskrit saying, if you eat twice, you're healthy. If you eat 3 times, you're an enjoyer. If you eat 4 times, you're considered to be something wrong with you.
Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah. Something like that. Anyways, but okay, so the point is that this normally the food comes at that time. Okay. So in people who follow very orthodox division of the day and how they're not going to work, they're not going to the office, they're retired or whatever. The orthodox division of the day is you get up, morning Sandhya Vandana, afternoon Sandhya Vandana, and then puja, and then eat. So the question is, when you have to eat early in the morning, because it's Dwadasi, or because you have to break the fast from a appearance day or something like that early in the morning, just after sunrise, but before 1/4 of the Dwadasi Tithi is elapsed, you have to break the Kodasi fast. So when it comes really early in the morning, how do you do it? You have to get up and you have to do all your puja and everything early, because you can only break your fast after puja.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have any food before puja, because you have to offer the food in the puja. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is, on that day, you can do noon Gayatri earlier. You're doing puja earlier, and you're doing noon Gayatri earlier, and you're doing morning Gayatri much earlier. So if you can do it on that day, so people say if you can do it on that day, right, because of the fasting, then you can do it on every day if you have to go to the office, if you have to do things in the middle of the day. Because what can you do? If you work at a job or something like that, you go to the job, you can't tell your boss, excuse me, I have to have an hour off because I need to go home, take a bath, do my midday Gayatri. I'll be back. Like that. Please pay me for that 1 hour that I'm not there. So all of these ancient systems were for people who were living very ancient Orthodox Brahminical lifestyles, and not for people today. So in South India, also all over India, there are many Brahmins, they do that. They work during the day. They don't have time to do Sandhya Vandan in the middle of the day, but still they have to do it. They have to do it. So they do it in the morning. First you do morning, then you do immediately afterwards, you do noon. Then you get ready, have breakfast, and go to work, come back in the evening, take a bath, and do the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the idea. That's how people do it these days. And it's what we call a parihara. Parihara means it's a loophole, right? Many people go to Brahmins, they want to get the loophole. Okay, Mr. Brahmin, here's what it says in the scriptures. Here's the rule. Now tell me, I have to actually live in a practical way. Tell me how to follow the rule, but in a way that I can follow it, like that. Same thing we get in the Bhagavatam, which I mentioned before. Maharaj Ambarish was fasting for a whole year. He had to break the fast at a certain time. Durvasa and 10,000 disciples were coming for breakfast, right? But they were off in the river taking bath. He's a guest. I have to wait for the guest. I have a guest which I invited for dinner, right? If I invite you to my house for dinner, right, and I say, oh, you had a long journey, please go take bath, and I'm waiting. I'm looking at my watch and I'm thinking, oh, it's getting late now. I'm hungry. I want to eat. But, Raghunath's still taking bath. What should I do? He's my guest. I have to wait for you to come. But in the meantime, if I wait for you, if the proper etiquette, I should wait for you and feed you first because you're the guest. But if I have to break fast from the fast that I did and the time is elapsing, I have to do something where I break the fast before you come, but at the same time, I can't offend you by eating before you come. So the Brahmin said to Maharaj Ambarish, okay, you can't eat because the guest has to come first and then you have to feed him and then you can eat. But you also can't miss the break fast from fasting for 1 year. So drink some water. And that is like breaking a fast, but also not like breaking a fast. So that's your parihara. That's a loophole. And the Brahmins gave him that loophole with Shastra Pramana. They told him in the Shastra, it says like this, that if you drink water, it's considered eating, but not eating. So that's a loophole. So similarly, this is a loophole for Sandhya Vandanam, for doing midday Sandhya Vandanam. They say, okay, if you got to go do that, then you do it immediately after morning, you do the noon. That's what people do. There are many, many loopholes like this, many discussions, dharma shukshmas, little dharmic things that people have a question. For instance, I'll give you an example. In Achamana, you are only allowed to sip enough water. The amount of water you put in your hand can only be, according to Shastra, the amount of water to cover a mung bean.
Oh boy.
There's a very small amount of water. Even if I put this amount of water, even if I had a tiny spoon and put that amount of water in my hand, can I get that into my mouth? I have to like throw it to get in my mouth. It's very difficult. To do it according to the Shastra, with all the Shastra pramanas, is very, very difficult. But if we interpret, we can interpret the meaning of certain pramanas in a different way. It doesn't mean only to cover a mung bean, but it means to cover up to a certain line on your hand. So there's a Sri Vaishnava book which says this pramana means this. It doesn't mean just covering a mung bean, because when you read in the Shastra this thing about Achamana, the mung bean, it says to cover a mung bean. It says if you use more water or less water than that can cover a mung bean, that's a sin and you'll go to hell. Okay? As you always find this in the Shastras. Whatever they do, whenever they give a rule, they'll say, if you do this, you'll get all benedictions. If you don't do it, you're going to go to hell forever, right? Or something. So it's hyperbole, what we call in English. They're very, very interested to get you to do it properly. So they give you all these warnings. It's carrot and stick. They say, oh, if you do it, you'll be the greatest devotee and you'll go to heaven. And if you don't do it, oh, right, you'll be damned to hell forever. This is only to encourage you to do it properly. But anyhow, so we want to find a way to do everything properly, but we also sometimes need to do it in an easy way. So there are commentaries by different people who say, no, this doesn't mean if you interpret the words in the pramana a little bit differently. Today I had a class before I came here. There was a class in Gita Sangraha, which is the essence of the Gita in 32 verses by Yamunacharya. So reading the commentary, and my Sanskrit teacher, he says there's a rule in Sanskrit poetics that every line of a verse has to end in a long syllable. So I'm like, okay. And he said, but the rule is this. And he tells the rule in Sanskrit. And he said, some people, they interpret that to mean, oh, that you can, there's an exception to the rule. There's an exception to the rule. And here's the exception. The exception is that you can, the very last syllable in a verse can be short. Okay. So then all the great Sanskrit poets, sometimes, occasionally, they make the last syllable of a verse short. And it's allowed because it's an exception, right? But then people read the exception and they say, oh, if I can make the last line short, why not make all the other lines end in short? They misinterpret it. So he said, it's possible to interpret that exception to mean you can make each line short. He said some poets who are not experienced enough, they're not good poets, they make each line short. And they say it's okay because this is the exception. But actually the exception is not meant to be like that. So there's so many rules. Okay. The problem with ritualism, Hindu ritualism, Vaishnava ritualism, is there's so many rules. So that's why, like, for instance, Prabhupada made everything very, very simple. He told people, if you read Hari Bhakti Vilas, who is in 1966 or even the 70s or something, who is gonna sign up to do ISKCON deity worship if you tell them? They'll spend, if you read Hari Bhakti Vilas, if you try to do Hari Bhakti Vilas, you are not going to get out of the bathroom in the morning. There are so many rules for taking bath. In fact, you won't even be able to take bath in a bathroom because there is no such thing as a bathroom in Hari Bhakti Vilas. There's no bathroom. People didn't have rooms for bath. Bath has to be done where? Bath has to be done in pure water. What is pure water? What is pure water?
Probably a flowing body of water. Is it a moving body of water?
Okay, the water has to be in the earth. The earth, Bhumi Devi, is the consort of Lord Vishnu, right? Right? Bhuvraha. The earth is a consort, one of the consorts, one of the wives of Lord Vishnu. She is pure. The earth is pure. If you keep water in a tank on your house, if water comes through a dirty pipe into your house, right? When you go in your kitchen or your bathroom and you turn the tap, where's that water coming from? Even if it's
through the tank, PVC. Yeah.
Look at the people in Flint, Michigan. They turn the tap and they get horrible stuff coming through their taps. But the way Brahmins think of it in India, or at least in South India, the very orthodox people, is that they won't use any water from a tap. My Pancharatra Guru, Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya, I went to his house. So he said, "Oh, I'm just about to take bath." Okay, let me see you take bath. So he goes outside his house. There's a well. And he takes a pot and he throws it down the well, a pure pot, not an aluminum pot, right? Not an aluminium pot, just a nice pure brass pot that's been polished and nice, a copper pot, right? Puts it down, or a silver pot even, some people. They put it down and they pull up the water and they take bath from water that has been inside Bhumi Devi, kept pure, because she's pure. She's a goddess of the earth. She's keeping it pure. So the ocean is pure. The well water is pure. The river is pure. The lake is pure. These are pure. But once you take it out from the lake with a pipe and keep it in a horrible, dirty tank and feed it through horrible, dirty pipes and then pour it on top of your head, how is that pure?
Wow.
You understand? So that's, I mean, that sort of purity is the way the Brahmins think, the Orthodox Brahmins think in South India. So but it's impractical. It's impractical. In the morning when I get up, I don't have a well. I don't have a tank.
Yeah.
I used to actually have a pool. Actually, it was quite pure. But anyway, I had to get rid of it. I'll get another one. I'll have a tank, but pure. But not every time you can go outside and take a bath. If you're living in England, or if you're living in some cold place, it's snowing outside.
Just not practical.
It's not practical.
Yeah.
So these rules were not meant for, unless you, like, if you go to Badrinath, if you go to Badrik Ashram, they have these hot pools. Before you go in the temple, you go in and you take bath. They have one for women and a separate one for men. And you go and take bath in natural hot springs.
Yeah, which made me think also, I guess also when they're starting the Homa, they're also doing it by, with the, I forgot what that's called, where they're rubbing the...
Arni Manta.
Yeah, Arani. Is it okay also that, I mean, obviously we're using lighters, nowadays.
There's different types of fire. There's Balagni, Yovanagni, Vrida Agni. Okay, so there's baby Agni, there's older Agni, and there's very old Agni. There's youthful Agni, baby Agni, youthful Agni, old Agni. So what is old Agni? Old Agni means some Brahmin in his house has got a lamp on his altar which has been going on for many years.
Wow.
This is old Agni. Yeah. Every day he's doing, or there's a Vedic Brahmin who's doing his fire sacrifices every morning. He's doing his Shrauta Karma. He's doing every morning Samhita not Samhita that's for brahmacharis. He's doing Upasana Homa, or he's doing his Salipaka. He's doing his Vedic rites anyway. So he's keeping the fire going. Every day he has a cow dung ball that he puts in the fire at the end and covers all the ashes on the top. And in the morning he comes and just uncovers that and puts a few twigs and things, and the fire comes again. And then another cow dung ball for the next morning. Okay? So they keep that. You keep that fire from your marriage. You get married, and in the marriage, you take the marriage fire in a pot, kept as a glowing ember of cow dung in a clay pot, to your house.
That's
and then
amazing.
And then every day, morning and evening, you're making offerings into it and covering it up again and putting more cow dung in it. There are people who are doing this. I have friends in Sri Rangam, they're doing it.
Oh
They're
my
doing
goodness.
it. Yep.
Wow.
And at the end of your life, when you die, they'll take all your puja spoons and they'll put you on a funeral pyre, and your son will come with the fire from your marriage, and he will light the funeral pyre with that fire, and you will die in that fire. All your puja stuff will get burned up, everything.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it.
Wow. Okay, but my question.
We got a bit off the track. Okay, I want to answer that because
Sure.
there's different ways. So some people, they make with a magnifying glass. It's possible to make fire. It's possible to make fire by friction.
Okay,
This is called Balagni. You've created the fire. It wasn't there before. You created it from the sun or from friction, right? And then Yovanagni, there's a different. You have to give me some time if you want to know a full explanation of this, but there's different types. I once asked my Pancharatric guru if it's okay to make, to use matches or to use usually people, they have a lighter or matches, they light a lamp first, and then from the lamp, and you install the lamp, Om Deepeshwaraya Namaha, and light a lamp like that and keep the lamp, and then from the lamp you take some camphor and Om Bhurbhava Suvaha Agnim Pradistapayami.
Except on a windy day, of course.
Huh?
Except on a windy day. I have this happen to me all the time when I'm outside, and then the lamp just keeps going out.
The lamp keeps going out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had some chemicals that used to make the fire come. So I asked my guru M.R. Sampath Kumar Bhattacharya. I showed him. I said, look, if I do this and I put it there with the camphor, and then I just chant, and then the fire will come. And I said, is it okay? He said, yeah, it's okay. He said it's just like if you lit matches and lit a lamp and put it, or if you had a lighter and you lit a lamp and you put it later, it's the same thing. So he said, it's fine. You can do that. He told me he had a discussion one time with the biggest priest of the Kanchipuram Shankaracharya. And he said, how do you start a fire? And, fire sacrifice like that. And that guy told him, he said, oh, I use kerosene and old newspapers. So I'm like, okay. I said, I'm trying to be, somehow or other they start the fire. Afterwards they purify it and they get it going. But you're right. You're absolutely right. The most orthodox people, they will do it in a very orthodox way. So I've been to many sacrifices with many orthodox people, and they'll light a lamp and they'll take the fire from the lamp. They'll use a lighter or matches or whatever it is to light the lamp. But I've also been to places where they wanted to be more orthodox, and they did the Arni Manta, or they did the magnifying glass thing. People do it, So it just depends on how much detail you want to go. If you want to go into full detail, more orthodox, more, the tendency is for Westerners, when we do something and we want to show it to the Indians, for them, sometimes they don't do things so orthodox. But for us, if we want to show them that we're trying, we try to be more orthodox than them even. We have to try harder. Because we're not born in Brahmin families. So okay. So but you have to do, ultimately you have to remember all these preliminary pujas, all these things about lighting the fire, all these different things like that. This is not the main point. The main point is the puja of the deity, is the homa. These are the main aspects of the worship. So we never want for instance, when you do abhishekam, you're actually supposed to worship each part of liquid. Each part of liquid has a devata, has a mantra, has to be installed, right? Did you see when I came to Alachua, did you see me installing the pots?
It was, at that point, everything was overwhelming to me. I was just trying to follow what was going on.
Okay.
If you came again, I would be able to follow a lot more.
Okay, there's a system.
At that
For
time,
instance, there's a very complex system. Some people, they just get the pot and they put it there and they put the coconut on top and then they start invoking. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
But there's a whole system, and it's there in Hari Bhakti Vilas, and it's there in Krishna Dhamma-abhishek of Rupa Goswami, and I have a pot installation, right? And the same thing with the Sri Vaishnavas. You know, you wrap the pot with the strings. You know, the turmeric dye strings. You put turmeric and chandan on it. Like that, has to be clean. Like that, you have to wash the pot. Then after you wash the pot with a certain, it's like in puja when we have the patras for puja, we don't just come with the patras with all the things in them, you know. We put empty ones there and we have to sprinkle them with water. Then we have to put some water in them, right? Then we have to pour that water out after cleaning the things. Then we have to ritually fill up the water, place things inside, and there's mantras for each thing, right? So for instance, you know, we'll call the Viraja or the Ganga or whatever it is, sprinkle like that. Then Viryaya Strapate, right? We're cleaning the things. Pour that water out into the throw out. Then Hridayaya Namaha, we put the different things in the different pots. Put the, you know, like put in cloves and put in some tulsi and whatever it is. Right? Then fill it up. That's Hridaya Namaha. Then fill it up. Shirase Swaha is for filling it up, right? Then we have to cover them and say which pot is used for which, right? You know, Argyam Parikalpayami, Padyam Parikalpayami, Achmanim Parikalpayami, Shnanim Parikalpayami, Sarvata Toyam Parikalpayami, Surodakam Parikalpayami, like that. Acharya Toyam Parikalpayami, if you have a special pot for worshipping gurus, Acharya Toyam Parikalpayami, whatever it is. Then you have to do Soshana Dahana Plavana, which is also there in Hari Bhakti Vilas. The Sri Vaishnavas do it, and Gaudiyas, they don't know how to do it anymore. Soshana Dahana Plavana is purifying all the items, right? How do you do that? Your hand, you write Yam in your hand and pass your hand over. Yam Vayave Namaha Soshayami, Ramagne Namaha Dahiyami, Ramamrita Namaha Plavayami. Then show Dena Mudra, show Chakra Mudra. You know, all these things are there to purify these things before you do it. And same thing with Abhishek. This same thing you do. Who is doing all those things? You know, like that. But if you get practice, you can do it. If you get practice, you can do it. It's actually, it becomes very quick and very easy. Most important, probably more important than these preliminaries, is the Buddha Shuddhi. The Buddha Shuddhi is a more important thing. Because you want to purify your consciousness.
Did you already talk about that in one of your
I did not. We can talk about it sometime. But I would really. Now, today it's a little late. Maybe.
Yeah, getting late. Yeah, I would really like to hear that one. I really wouldn't. I should be able to attend every day except for Wednesday next week.
The Buddha Shuddhi, I'm putting these up on YouTube. The Buddha Shuddhi, I've already done the Gaudiya Buddha Shuddhi. If you want to see a Sri Vaishnava Buddha Shuddhi, it's also possible. I have a video of a guy doing Sri Vaishnava Buddha Shuddhi, and I can give you the mantras to go along with it. And I can explain what it means bit by bit. The Gaudiya Buddha Shuddhi is a general North Indian Buddha Shuddhi, and it's very nice. It starts off meditation on the sins in the body, sin personified in the body, and getting rid of that sin. And then there's also different steps which talk about the destruction of the elements in the body and the recreation. It's a meditation on the system of creation according to Sankhya system. Everybody accepts it. Even the Vaishnavas accept the Sankhya system of creation. It's there in the Shastras. And so you know, because for instance you have earth, water, fire, air, ether, and one comes from the other. Initially everything's Prakriti Pradhana, and then from that comes from ether comes air comes fire comes water comes earth, like that. So so since we have them all in our body, we have to uncreate them first. We have to do it backwards first and then forwards. And so this also brings us all back to the original discussion of Nyasa. there are 3 nyasas which are also done. They're called Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya or Pralaya nyasas. So there are nyasas that you do on the body also, which are a part of Buddha Shuddhi, or they come separately from Buddha Shuddhi sometimes. And they're done in a certain way with Gopal mantra, by the way, with Gopal mantra in this Gopal Archana Padhati that I translated from a manuscript from Bhubaneswar, Orissa Government Oriental Research Institute or whatever. It has also got that in it about the different nyasas. Srishti means creation, Sthiti means preservation, and Laya means samhara. It's called samhara, Laya, or pralaya, means destruction. And there are these 3 nyasas, and they're just in different orders like that. And brahmacharis have to do one first, and sannyasis have to do another one first, and grihastas have to do a different one first. So it's different. It depends on. It's a very complicated thing, but if you're interested, we can talk about that too. Srishti, Sthiti, and Pralaya nyasas. It's also comes as part of the discussion about Buddha Shuddhi. But Buddha Shuddhi is not a very hard thing. In Archana Padhati, in Bhaktisiddhanta's Archana Padhati, he made it very simple, and he said, just think that you're a servant of Krishna. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, na ham vipro na chanarapati napi vaishona sudro na ham vani na chigriyapati no vanashto yatirva kintu prodyan nikila paramananda mritam ham there gopi bhatahu parakamalayo dasa dasa no dasa. I'm the servant of Krishna. And if you think like that, you become pure. Like that. So that's why they chant that mantra. That's in Archana Padhati. That's in the original Bhaktisiddhanta. And also there's another mantra I think they give, Divyam Shri Hari Mandirajyam Tilakam Kantam Sumalambitam. It's about meditating on the body as having tilak and having neck beads and being in a pure form. Very orthodox Vaishnavas and things like that. If you come to a thing in Sri Rangam, if I take you to certain people's ashrams and things, they don't want to see you. If you're not wearing tilak, if you're not wearing a proper dhoti, they don't want to see you.
My God.
They want to talk to you. Yeah, I was talking to my Sanskrit teacher on Zoom this morning, and he said there's one teacher in Sri Rangam, and he teaches many people, but they have to come wearing 12 tilaks, and they have to wear full dhoti, and the women have to wear a 9-yard sari.
Wow.
Okay, special sari, right? And if they don't come like that, he won't teach them. And he said, and now they're in the virus lockdown. He's teaching by Zoom, and he called my Sanskrit professor and told him, I'm very upset because I can't check whether the guy is actually wearing a dhoti. Because it's Zoom, I can only see his face. So I don't know if he's wearing 12 tilaks. I don't know if he's wearing a proper dhoti. So I'm in anxiety because my standard is now diminished because of this having to teach by internet.
My original question, I did have one specific question about Sandhya Vandanam. Just that, obviously not being born in a Vaishnava family, I was born in a Vaishnava family, but, parents are Prabhupada disciples, but not, not traditional Brahmin, So when it comes to the part where it's Abhibadanam, I think, I know Amoka is like so-and-so,
Amoka,
whatever. Like
Amoka,
that. Amoka, yeah. So at this point, that's all I'm saying because I didn't know specifically what to put in.
Well, you have to adopt first of all, you have to adopt a gotra. You have to adopt a gotra. And that can be done either by looking at your chart and looking at the nakshatra, your birth nakshatra, and deciding like that, or you can just adopt the gotra. What I did was Sanpat Kumar Bhattacharya was teaching me Sandhya Vandanam. So he is Kosika Gotra. So I just adopted Kosika Gotra like that. And Kosika is good because one of the it's very common, and one of the rishis of Kosika Gotra is Vishwamitra, who's the rishi of Gayatri. So that's nice. So, but you can adopt any Gotra basically, and just it's called pravara. You have 1 or 3 or 5 rishis in a gotra, and you have to mention them. But if you're doing things all according to Krishna Yajurveda, you have to say Yajushaka Jayi. Yajushaka Jayi means that you're studying Yajurveda. And if you're
Yajur.
Yajushaka Jayi, yeah. But the sutra, what sutra are you following? Because Krishna Yajurveda has different sutras. So there's Apastamba, Bodhayana, there's different methods of doing this, the samskaras and things. Slightly different. Bodhayana is a little bit more complicated. Apastamba is general. Mostly we're teaching people Apastamba. Apastamba is pretty common. So Apastamba Sutra, Yajushaka Jayi. And your name, Raghunath Shamaha Asmibo. Yeah?
That I got.
So you just need the Gotra, right? Because for instance, for me, Abhivadaye, Kosika Gotraha, Apastamba Sutraha, Yajushaka Jayi, Sri Keshava Shamana Asmibo, like that.
Apastamba, say again, Apastamba.
Apastamba Sutraha. Yeah, you write to me. Well, you look in the prayoga in the Sanjivandana prayoga. It'll have everything, but it'll have blanks.
Yes, it's there.
I'll tell you how to fill it out. Huh? David Rishi's also doing Amuka.
No, I'm not using Amuka. No.
He's not doing Amuka.
I'm using Kausika Gotra Apastamba Sutra Yajushaka Jayi.
Okay.
Shideva Shidasa Shama Hasmi Bol.
Good. Okay, nice.
Today my internet is failing. It's going on and off.
Oh, your sound is coming on and off?
My internet is not good.
Oh, your internet's no good. Okay.
How do you spell Yajur Shaka Jayi?
If you look in have you got the PDF?
Yes, but
it should be in there. It'll be in there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it just said, I'm sorry. I thought that it just said Amoka. Okay. So it should say it.
Okay, I'll look. If it's not there, I'll post it.
Okay, thank you.
I'll send it to you, yeah.
It's there.
It's there, okay. David Rishi says it's there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look again.
Yeah, probably. It's probably there. I tried to fill in as much as I could, but then I want to give people the chance to adopt whatever Gotra they want to adopt.
And where is the reading? Is the reading in there also about what Gotra you would want to adopt?
Do I have any? I haven't made any discussion of how to do that, but
Okay.
so some astrologers, they say you can, if you don't know, you can adopt a particular Gotra from one of the 8 rishis according to your birth star. It's up to you.
Okay.
But there are books. I have lists of Gotras and Pravaras. So if you want a list, if you want to choose, but I don't think it's
okay. Would it be okay if I used Kosika Gotra?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be
my understanding is the reason I did it was I said, see, for instance, I'll give you an example. Prabhupada was in South India in Hyderabad, and Sambhakumar Bhattacharya was doing the installation of the deities there, and he asked Prabhupada, "What is your Gotra for the Sankalpa?" He wants to put Prabhupada's Gotra in the Sankalpa. Yeah. And Prabhupada actually is born in a Vaishya family, but the Gotra, they're Dvijas, they're twice born. So they come from Gautama Rishi. So he should have said Gautama Gotra. He could have said Gautama Gotra, but instead, what he said was Saraswata Gotra. Because he felt like Bhaktisiddhanta is my real father. So I identify as being in Bhaktisiddhanta's Gotra, his family. So Sampakumar, there is no such thing as Saraswata Gotra, really. Okay, it's not a thing. But anyway, Prabhupada said Saraswati Gotra. So Sampath Kumar, Saraswati Gotra. Okay. So the thing is with Sampath Kumar, when he was teaching me Sandhyavandanam, I said the same thing. What Gotra can I adopt? He said, just, you can have Kosik Gotra, you can just adopt that. No problem. Because, I'm teaching you. You're learning from me. So you do like that. Okay. He was, whereas later on I studied from somebody else, Vasudev Bhattacharya, and that person was also teaching me Pancharatra, but he was Bodhayana Sutra. He was a Bodhayana Sutra person and from a different Gotra. But because I'd already learned Sandhyavandanam, I was already using Kosika Gotra, so I just kept that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it matters all that much. The point is to identify yourself. Abhivadanam is to identify yourself. And the problem in India is that there's a lot of Krishnadasas. Yeah, so you might if you go to South India, you're going to meet a lot. Like in India, the last name Sharma means Brahmin. So you might meet, this man is Mr. Sharma, but this other man is also Mr. Sharma. There's another Mr. Sharma. There's a lot of Sharmas, Chaturvedis, Guptas, Varmas. These are all surnames. Usually from the surname in India, you can figure out the person's caste or whatever. So a lot of people have the same. If you meet a person who's a Sikh, his last name is probably Singh, right? Mm-hmm. They use that all as their last name. So okay, so how do you distinguish between you meet one Srinivasa, one man called Srinivasa, which means Lord Venkateshwara and Balaji, and another man Srinivasa, or one man Ramanujan, another man Ramanujan. Well, you figure it out from the initials, the first initials. Usually the first name, what they'll do is, because they didn't have more than one name, so this man is Ramanujan. So what is he? R Ramanujan? Is he A.K. Ramanujan? Is he V Ramanujan? Right? So a lot of times in India, what they do is they take the village name or the birthplace name and they put that before. So for me, I'm born in Sydney, Australia, so I could call myself S. Keshavadas. Who am I? I'm Sydney Keshavadas. I'm Keshavadas from Sydney, because maybe in Sydney there's only one Keshavadas, and that way that identifies me. So if I identify myself as Keshavadas, who is of Apastamba Sutra, Kosika Gotra, studies the Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda, then maybe that's way that's a way of identifying myself from another Keshavadas who's a Samvedi, who's not from Sydney, who's a Bodhayana Shaka, who's from a different Gotra. So like that. That's how they identify themselves. So we, like in the West, we're used to having Christian first names, and then we have a surname. So we know, all my brothers have the same last name, and I have the same, but we have different first names. So that's how we identify each other, right? Mm-hmm. But in India, you may not have the same name at all as your father or your brother, or you might have a completely different name. And also when the children are born, they give different types of names to them. They can give 3 or even 7 names, different names to the child. There'll be a secret name. There'll be a name to use in rituals. There'll be a house name, a slang name. Like in Sri Rangam. I've lived in Sri Rangam for so long, and I'm always riding my bicycle in Sri Rangam, right? So in Sri Rangam, if they don't, everybody knows me. Maybe they don't know my name, but everybody knows me. So if you don't know my name in Sri Rangam, you just say, Cycle Mama. Cycle Mama means uncle in Tamil. Mm-hmm. So Cycle Mama is the uncle that rides the cycle. Because everybody else has got a moped or something. So this guy goes on a bicycle. He's the old guy that rides around on the bicycle. That's that guy, So I heard that often. People say, they'll call me. They'll say, hey, Cycle Mama, come here. Cycle Mama, come here, like that. So people get nicknames, you get, I had Rangaraj Bhatta was a good friend of mine. He was one of the head pujaris of the Sri Rangam temple many years ago. He's passed away now. And his name was Anna Bhatta. Anna Bhatta means big brother Bhatta. His name is Rangaraj Bhatta. So people should call him Rangaraj Bhatta, but they don't. They call him Anna, big brother. Big brother. There was a guy who was so heavy, so angry all the time, and always criticizing people. They call him Hitler. There was a guy in Sri Rangam, they would call him Hitler.
Oh my goodness.
So there's all these nicknames. People have nicknames that they have, but it's just a way of identifying somebody. So we're getting a bit off the track, but the point is, Abhivadanam is a way of identifying a person like that. Okay. So for instance, Raghunath or, Keshava, Devarishi, these might be common names. We have to, if I want to tell somebody about Devarishi, I say, the Devarishi who is in Nigeria is the president of this temple in Nigeria, or Raghunath from Alachua, as distinct from another Raghunath I know from the big island of Hawaii. Right? Oh, I know him too. Yeah. So exactly. So how do you distinguish between people? Exactly. This case with that case. So that's just the way it is. That's because of that's just because they don't have that first name, last name, middle name thing that we have in the West. Are you going to be doing one of these sessions also on Sandhya Vandanam? I mean, for deeper understanding, because I'm doing Sandhya Vandanam, but not very much understanding. I guess there's probably some material I should have read in more detail. The thing about Sandhya Vandanam, we can do more about Sandhya Vandanam, but the thing about Sandhya Vandanam, it's a nitya karma. It's something that you're supposed to do every day. If you don't do it, you incur sin. And the main point is, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, there's a sloka, there's a verse that says, one who doesn't do Sandhya Vandanam is always impure and is not fit to do any ritual. Okay, so that's why I emphasize all people that come to me. I say, okay, first thing, if you want to be a priest and if you just want to be a devotee and you want to be a Vaishnava, okay, you don't have to do Sandhya Vandanam. If you want to be a priest, though, for other people, you have to think about performing ceremonies on behalf of them, right? You want to try and do it in the most authentic way possible, and that means that you should try to be qualified. And the first qualification is Sandhya Vandana. Just like in ISKCON, Prabhupada would say, okay, you want to worship the deity, you want to cook for the deity. First of all, you have to have second initiation. That's all. So it's similar to second initiation. But what is second initiation? Second initiation, we get all the Diksha mantras, Vaishnava Diksha mantras, but we also get the Gayatri mantra, and we're considered to be Brahmins. We're not Brahmins by birth or by culture, right? But we have that mantra, which the Dvijas, which the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas get when they go to the Gurukula, when the boys go to the Gurukula. And what goes along with that. But see, being a Brahmin isn't just wearing a piece of thread on your 2 paisa thread, is what Prabhupada used to say. It isn't just wearing it costs more than 2 paisa right now, actually. The highest quality ones, which I buy for Kirti Raj sometimes, the biggest, thickest, bestest ones cost 30 rupees now, which is about 50 cents. Okay.
The ones with the cow nuts?
Huh?
The ones with the cow nuts, the little cows on the nuts.
Yeah, the knots are different. Knots are different for Vaishnavas and Shaivas, and also in North India, the knots are a little different than the South Indian knots. Okay, that's another thing. How to tie the knots, how to make the Yajñapavita, how to install the Yajñapavita, how to do prana pratishta of the Yajñapavita before you put it on.
That's another topic.
It's a completely other topic. Okay.
So, no, but I mean another topic that that sounds very interesting that we really need to know about. I mean, I don't know anything.
One person came to me, was studying, and I told him so many things. And first of all, I told him you should do Sandhya Vandana. Then after many years, the guy came to me and he said, I heard that before you put the new thread on, you have to do prana pratishta of the devatas in the thread. And I said, yeah, very few people do it. It's a very orthodox thing to do. It's a very ancient thing. I don't do it, but there's a lot of people. There's a few orthodox people who do this still, right? Like that. Okay, Madhvas do it. A lot of Madhvas do it. Mostly Sri Vaishnavas don't do it, but they can do it. If you're very orthodox, they do it. Okay, so I said yes. There's a complex system of doing this, and he said, teach that to me. I said, okay. First of all, are you doing Sandhya Vandanam? So he said, no, I'm not. You taught it to me, but I don't do it. I said, then what is the purpose of you asking me to do prana pratishta of the? It's like saying to me, teach me how to worship the deity, but I taught you how to install the deity. Now teach me how to worship the deity. Oh, I don't worship. I taught you how to worship the deity. Now teach me how to install the deity. Oh, but I'm not worshiping the deity. Then why do you want to know how to install it if you're not going to worship it?
Yeah.
Why do you want to know installation of the Brahmin thread if you're not going to do Sandhya Vandana? Mm-hmm. It's amazing to me. So I said, no, I'm not wasting my time. If you want to start doing Sandhya Vandanam, tell me, and I'll teach you that. No problem.
Okay.
So,
yeah. What, Swami?
Yes, installing some devatas on Jagya Upavitra. I saw some short verse in Upakrama. The Upakrama. I saw some place where changing of the thread. Upakarma.
Yeah.
So that's what I used to do.
Upakarma, yeah. Upakarma is a different thing. Upakarma, we change the thread during Upakarma. Yes, Balaram's appearance day for Krishna Yajurvedis. Yeah.
That procedure.
Yeah, but this
procedure I use now for changing thread.
Yeah, that's a good procedure. Okay, but you don't have to do the full Upakarma to change the thread. But what I'm talking about is that there's a prana pratishta for the Yagyapavita, which, I mean, I can tell you what it is. I even have a little movie of some guys doing it.
Ooh, I would like to see that.
but the movie is of some Madhvas doing it, and they're Rigvedis. So it may be a little bit different for Yajurvedis, okay?
Okay.
But all Brahmins do it, can do it. But I have a video. I'll post the video, okay? And then we can discuss it like that. But there's so many, I mean, if you go to Melkote in South India near Mysore, you see the Brahmins in the temple. They'll be chanting mantras and they'll be chanting prayers and things like that. And while they're standing there, this is out in the country, so while they're standing there, they're spinning thread.
I was just there a short time ago.
Did you see them? Sometimes they spin thread while they're standing.
No, I didn't get to see that.
Okay, in the old days, I was there like in the 70s. So they stand there and spin thread. They make their own thread. They're making their own thread while they're chanting mantras. And then they make it into the Brahmin threads.
Oh, wow. You mean they actually make the thread itself? And
Correct.
Then they make the oh my God. Yeah, I'm really into things like that. I don't know if you've noticed from the other. I just like to do things on my own as much as possible.
Yeah,
so
there are some videos on YouTube you can find where people show you how to make threads and tie the knots.
Yeah, Brahma taught me how to do some basic ones. Brahma Muhurta. I'm really close friends with him, and he comes and stays at my house often. So
yeah,
he taught me how to do some.
Brahma is an expert setup man. He's an expert. He's a very good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's incredible.
If you want a paricharaka, you want to get Brahma as your paricharaka. Paricharaka means your assistant to do all the setup and everything like that. He will be the perfect person to do all that.
He has such a beautiful setup, doesn't he? Like just everything he does, he puts.
Sure.
It's like first class. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you, his setup is better than the guys in India. No, seriously.
Wow.
Seriously, those guys, it's like, okay, let's put a yagshara together and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
They slap it together, but sometimes it's better than other times. Some people are more artistic and whatever.
Yeah, he's really artistic. The way he
I
folds
had-
the cloth and
I had
everything.
I many times I had problems. I went to places and did pujas. Homer's in ISKCON. It was too wet, like it was raining outside or something. We couldn't even put mud on the bricks for the fire sacrifices, and when I went to install Narasimha in Germany, Harikesh said to me, "You can do whatever you want, just no swastikas." And I said to him, I said, what kind of flowers do you have here? This was it was almost the winter time in Germany. It was in the fall, in the autumn. And he said, well, we have cauliflowers. So some things, then I said to him also, I said, I want to make a garland for Narasimha of waters. You know what a wada is?
No.
In South India, they make a little donut, and it's savory.
Oh, okay.
And you eat it with chutney. It's made of dal, pure urd dal, and they make garlands of them for deities.
Yeah.
So I said, I want to make a garland of wadas for Narasimha. And he said, he said, well, you have to ask the cooks. So I went and asked the cooks, and the cooks were like, I said, does anybody know how to make wadas, South Indian wadas? They said, no, we don't know. So there was one lady, she knew it. She said, I'm a baker. She said, I can make donuts. I said, fine, donuts, that's fine. So there's a type of donut that they make in Germany. It's called a Berliner. A Berliner is, in America, we call it a jelly donut. So it's a donut, but it's got no hole, but it's a donut, but inside is a red jelly, is a jam inside, strawberry jam inside, yeah. So I said, oh, that's perfect. You make a jelly donuts. So when we installed Narasimha in Germany, we made a huge garland of jelly donuts for Narasimha, which is great because he's killing Hiranya and ripping out his intestines, and it's all like donuts, right?
Oh wow! Plus the jelly inside, right? like the blood.
Yeah. And then we give it out as prasadam.
Nice. Wow. I love that video, the Vimeo video that was. I think you sent it at one point. That was such a beautiful video from that installation. It was really nice seeing that. Your energy also was really nice in the way, your presentation and everything and the talk, and the devotees were so enthusiastic. It was actually really sweet watching them also.
That was a crazy installation. I'm telling you, people, there were in the kirtans. The kirtans were so rough. One devotee got knocked out unconscious in the kirtan.
Oh my God. I loved how you were talking about it. I don't know where I heard you talking about it. Maybe from the WhatsApp, you were saying something about how no one at that time knew anything, and all the puja guys and everything, all the devotees. So you would just use them as almost like instruments. You were like, okay, hold this. And they were so enthusiastic though. I just loved seeing all the smiling faces. They were just so happy. Any way that you engage them, they were ecstatic.
Sure.
But they had no idea what was happening.
Well, that's what I did. I put people in the different fires, and then I had a microphone, and when I say swaha, you put ghee in the fire. That's all. And it's the same thing in the do this, do that. Just tell people what to do, and that's fine. Like that. Not a problem. There's in a Vedic sacrifice, you have different priests. Same thing in Pancharatrik. You have different priests, and they have different functions. And the priests also, there are four main priests, right? There's the Udgatri, the Hotri, the Advaryu, and the Brahma. And the Brahma priest is like the overall, or the Advaryu. they're all from different Vedas, and they have different things. That Udgatri is the Samvedi guy. He's to chant the Samaveda. You have one priest for that. And you have the Hotri is the Rigvedi guy. He's going to offer the ghee and the fire. And there's a Yajurveda priest, is the Advaryu. The Brahma priest is, I guess, a Tarvana priest. I don't know. But anyway, so one guy is in charge of everything. And the others are, then each one of those 4 priests have helpers. They have 4 helpers. And they all have names too in Sanskrit. We can go over that sometime. I can tell you the Sanskrit names, what Vedas they represent, what they do, and their helpers, the 16 helpers of the 4 main priests. Each priest has 4 helpers, and those priests, the technical name for those helpers is Ritviks, right? And that would mean something else today in modern, ISKCON. Yeah, but those are Ritviks, and they have different names too, and they have each got a duty to do. So, yeah, I mean, there's all. I mean, even when I was with Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya, traveling around with like 25 Brahmins to do different ceremonies, those, each Brahmin had something to do. They had a cook. They had to have a cook. Had to have a guy there who was just cooking, because the Brahmins have to eat 6 times a day. The Brahmins have 3 meals and 3 snacks. And the snacks are bigger than any meal that you've ever eaten, and the meals are bigger. and so they have to have a cook. They have to have the cook has to serve and everything or whatever. They have to have a cook. Then each Brahmin has got his own deities. He's got his own shalagrams. He's got his own deities. Every Brahmin's a Vaishnava. They've got their own deities they're traveling with. So how are they going to do this pujas, big pujas and things? You have to give your deities to one Brahmin, and there's one Brahmin who just does puja for all the deities of all the other Brahmins.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Had no idea. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Sampat Kumar's brother, his brother Parthasarthi Bhatta, who is a Narasimha Bhakta. He looks like Narasimha, big beard, and he did all the puja for everybody's deities. So I gave my Govardhan Shila and my Shalagram to him at the time, and he did everything puja for everybody. And then at the end, after I think it was 8 or 9 days, there was a puja, and after the end of the 9th day, he gave everybody back their deities like that. And when he gave I had a little round, still have it, a little small round shalagram, and I got it back from him. He used it. He had a 3-dimensional yantra, a meru, which is a pyramid, a Narasimha meru. It's got Narasimha mantras all over it. Got 4 elephants and sheshas holding it up, and it's a copper meru, right? And he would put turmeric paste on the front of it, make it, and turmeric paste and kumkum, and make a face of Narasimha on the front of it, right? And then for eyes, he would take 2 little shalagrams and make the eyes.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So one day he took one of my shalagrams and put it there as one of the eyes. So I'm like, wow, okay. So then,
oh, that's so cool.
Then after the 9 days was over, he gives me back my Govardhan Shila, which is big, and the little shalagram. And I got the shalagram back, and I was looking at it, and I put it up to the light, and the light was shining through it. It was like transparent. So I went to him, and I said, excuse me, but I think you gave me the wrong Shila. I think this is one of yours, and that, you may still have mine. So he gave, oh yeah, sorry, gave you the wrong Shila.
Brahma Muhurta, of course, he has that one Shalagram Shila that
Sampat
Kumar gave to, yeah.
Right. Sampat Kumar gave me a Shila too.
Oh, he did. Wow.
Yeah. I have a Shila from his. It's a Lakshmi Narasimha Shila with a flat bottom. It's got a pitam, and it's very black. It's a mantra for Mantra City Shila. Anyway, yeah, he gave me one. So he gave that one to Prabhupada in Hyderabad, and Prabhupada wanted it to be in Bombay. Prabhupada originally told Gopal Krishna, you take this and you worship it in Bombay. And at that time in ISKCON, there were no Shilas, and Prabhupada wanted to introduce Shalagram worship, and everybody was afraid of Shilas. They thought like a Shila was like a high voltage wire or something, you know? You can't touch it. So Gopal Krishna said, no, I don't think we should, even though Bombay was the biggest ISKCON temple that just opened, Juhu had just opened. And so then he said, okay, then he gave it to Pradyumna, and he gave it to Pradyumna, and he told Pradyumna, you worship it. And he said, then after you train your son, and your son will worship it.
Okay.
Yeah. But somehow it came to Brahma. Okay, good.
Yeah, so Brahma has it, and has good. Him, and every time he comes to my house, he always brings him, puts him on my altar. And Brahma usually comes to Florida, he's on vacation, so he rests a little bit more, so I always get to worship him.
Good.
I feel really.
So I have Pradyumna used to worship that Shila. So Pradyumna had a copper Achaman spoon that he used to use for worshiping that Shila. I have that copper Achaman spoon. And what I did was I found a matching Panchapatra, big, thick, barrel-shaped Panchapatra, antique, in the antique market in Delhi that fits it. So I use that every morning for, puja and Sandhya Vandana. So that's my, I got that from Deva Shakti, who was in Vrindavan looking after Prabhupada's house. And she said, Pradyumna left this here. And this was his spoon that he used to use for worshiping in Shalagram. She said, because you're a Pandit too, so here you can have it to use. You can use it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, we all end up with some paraphernalia, some deities or something. I mean, look, even all the great devotees. I would say this to all devotees: you're getting older now. There's a big pandemic. You could die at any moment. You should have a will written, and in your will it should say who your deities have to be worshipped by after you pass away.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with Brahma Muhurta actually. I was talking to him about it, actually. I was thinking about it because of that. I was telling him that shalagram that he has is so important to us that, it's very important that he has a plan for it. And that it needs to be in some legal will somewhere, recorded. Because, that shalagram, I feel is just so important to us.
Anyway, Jiva Goswami wrote a will and said who is going to worship Radha Damodar in Vrindavan, after I pass away. And that you can get a copy of. I have a copy here. I can scan it maybe and let you see it. They translated it. There's two parts. There's a piece of paper. On one side there's a legal will, which is notarized by the Muslim government at the time. And then on the other side is a reiteration of him saying this on his deathbed. And people, the Vaishnavas who were present at his passing away, have signed their names to attest to the deathbed will of Jiva Goswami, right?
Oh my God!
Right, and one of the signatures on the will, on the deathbed thing, is Krishnadas Kaviraj. One of the signatures.
Oh my God! Wow, I would love to see that. That sounds absolutely incredible.
Because that is kept by the Vrindavan Research Institute, and so they made one scholar did a translation of it. And they printed it as a small pamphlet. You can still buy it if you go to the Vrindavan Research Institute, I think, if it's still in print. But I have a copy here somewhere. I could find it probably and scan it.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
But it's very interesting also because it proves that Krishnadas Kaviraj outlived Jiva Goswami, because he was there when Jiva Goswami passed away and signed. So it's important for historical reasons. But it's also very, very important spiritual thing too.
Yeah. Oh, incredible. I feel like I'm taking so much of your time.
It's okay. Not a problem.
What about totally different topic? You just posted the other day. You posted Narayan Upanishad.
I posted Taittiriya Upanishad, no?
No, yeah, but you also posted Narayan Upanishad.
Oh, okay, Narayana Tavashira, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
short one, yeah.
The Om Atapurusho Havai Narayana Kamayata. Yeah.
Yes.
How is that used generally?
In Sri Vaishnava worship, that it's sometimes said in the last part of the worship. In Sri Vaishnava worship is divided up into different asanas, different sections. So you have mantrasana, which you start off with, then Shnanasana. Mantrasana, you're offering prayers in the beginning. Shnanasana, you do the bath. Alankarasana, you're doing the offering of clothes and ornaments. Bhojasana means you're offering the foodstuffs. Then you have Punamantrasana, which means another mantrasana where you're offering other prayers, right? And usually that's when Sri Vaishnavas offer a thing called Satamurai in Tamil, which means prayer. It's a special prayer where you offer certain Tamil recitations of the Alvars. But in that time, you can also do Veda Pushpanjali, and you use the mantras from Brahma Yagya mantras, right? So you do Pushpanjali. So you might do Om Keshavanam Om Narayana or with 108 names, 1008 names, or whatever it is like that. And then you finish off with Agnimi, Ila, Purohitam, and go through the different Vedas and different books that you're studying. And Narayana Upanishad will come there after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just like part of the daily puja.
Yeah, it can be. It doesn't have to be for everybody. If you want to make it simple, you don't do it. But many people do it. See, the reason why Narayana Upanishad is very important for Sri Vaishnavas, especially, and maybe for Madhvas also, is that it comes Om Namo Narayana iti mantra upasakaha. Om Namo Narayana mantra, right? Om iti ekaksharam, namiti dvayakshare, Narayana iti panchaksharani. Om is one letter. Namaha is 2 letters. Narayana is 5 letters. Together they make 8 letters, which means Om Namo Narayana. And those people who worship Om Namo Narayana go to Vaikuntha. Thus says the Upanishad. This is what it's basically saying. So for instance, just like Gaudiya's Hare Krishna mantra is so important, why not chant the Kalishantaranya Upanishad, right? Because that's, so it's important to show where you have a very important mantra for your sampradaya. It's important to show where that mantra comes from. And that mantra for Gaudiyas comes from Kalishantaranya Upanishad. For Sri Vaishnavas, Om Namo Narayana comes from Narayana Upanishad. That's the pramana. That's the Veda pramana of Om Namo Narayana.
Okay.
So, so that's why it's important for them.
About a year ago, I went to I was in Los Angeles, and I went to that one temple.
Balaji temple it's a Venkateshwara temple in Las Virgenes Canyon in Malibu. Yes.
And I learned, I don't know, a few years back, I learned Narayana Upanishad just because somebody posted a video of it, and just the recitation was just so beautiful that it just like, I don't know, my hairs were just like standing on end. Like I just felt so much attraction for it. It was so beautiful to me that I just decided to memorize it right there and then. So I chant it every day, actually, just because I just find it so beautiful. But I went to that temple in Los Angeles, that place you said. I didn't know exactly where I was, but I went in a hurry in the morning because I was flying out just a little bit later that day. And the priest there, I believe you said you knew him.
There's 2 priests there that I know. Narasimha Bhatta, he's a son of Rangaraj Bhatta in Sri Rangam, and the other one is Krishnamacharya. He's from Tirupati.
Oh, okay, I don't know which one he was, but he came and he was chanting Narayana Upanishad as he was starting the worship, and he was offering the different items and everything as he was doing it, and he was just chanting that. And I mean, I didn't know if it was okay to chant with him or not, but I just joined in, and he was really surprised. And he turned around, and he said, "What?" He said, "How do you know that?" And it was just, it was just a neat experience. And I'd never seen anyone using it while doing the puja. So I just became curious, you know.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I didn't get a chance to talk to him afterward because I had to leave for my flight. He wanted to talk to me afterward. But he said he needed to go on and continue doing some of the puja, and he was walking to some different places.
Right.
And I had to leave at that point, so I couldn't stay to talk to him.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I don't want to take too much of your time. I feel like I could talk to you all day.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I you know, what happens is I'm doing these classes in the morning with my Sanskrit teacher. So right after that, I'm going to be on the computer anyway. So I just turn on the camera. But and I'm just recording this, and then I'll put it up on YouTube. Other people can see it. And and you know, so we don't have to talk everything every day. But at a certain point, I also have to go do things, you know, in the day, because it's a lot earlier in the morning here in Hawaii than it is there. So so
my day's winding up.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, the important thing is, the good thing is to think of some questions and topics to discuss, and then the next day we can discuss them. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you let me know ahead of time, then maybe then I can have something. I can see, like for instance, I can share screens, and I think I can even play music and play mantras and things. I'll see what I can do with Zoom. And yeah, whatever. But I have to know ahead of time and to be able to prepare an answer. And
sure. Yeah. So I think what were some of the other things we said then? Maybe Bhuta Shuddhi.
Yeah, we talked today about Nyasa a little bit. We talked about Mantra Shastra. We got to the point of discussing maybe Buddha Shuddhi. I will try to post that video of Yajnapavitta Prana Pratishta and Buddha Shuddhi and the different types of Sthiti, Shristi, and Samhara Nyasas. That can all come later, you know, like that. We discussed a few small questions about Gotra Pravara for Sandhyavandanam, and basically pariharas, loopholes, you know, things that when we have a problem, or when we can't do something as orthodox as they do in ancient India, we can do it in a different ways, and you know, it's the thought that counts ultimately, you know.
Yeah, and then I guess with nyasas, then I guess if you're doing a ceremony, it would probably be good to at least learn a few, right? Because I mean, if more than likely it's not going to be really practical to learn too many nyasas.
Okay,
you know,
the number one first thing when you plan a ceremony is you want to know, how long do I have?
Yeah.
If somebody says to you, yeah, you can install the deity and you have 9 days, 27 days, 30 days, or something like that, go for it. Do whatever you want, you know?
Yeah.
But if somebody says to you, no, I have 1 hour, which is usually what people say. Usually people say, after an hour, you lost me. Even in South India, you go to a marriage ceremony, and the marriage ceremony maybe takes a few hours, a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours. And people go, they see it going on. And like within 5 minutes of you arriving, they say to you, want to go eat? Want to go have some a snack? You know, so you go off and you go and have some idlis, or you go have some snack, and then you come back and you see some more of it, like that. Then they say, oh, it's time for lunch. Go to, like that. So basically, you spend half an hour to an hour there, and you get fed twice, and you say hello to the bride and groom, give them a present.
Well, that was better than in Vrindavan. I was just in a wedding in Vrindavan. That Brahma Muhurta just did a wedding in Vrindavan. I was there. And there was snacking going on all around. There were like 20 booths of snacks, and there were like 5 people watching the wedding, and everybody else was talking and eating snacks the whole time.
Yeah. Well, mostly in South India, what they do is they take you to a separate room. Everything goes on in a separate room, and then you come back. And normally the people will talk if they're sitting next to each other on chairs or something. People will talk to each other, but normally they try to keep a little bit of decorum in the place where the actual ritual's going on. But you know, I've seen priests on their cell phone in the middle of the wedding.
Oh, oh my God. Oh no.
So, you
Wow.
know, it happens. You know, there's
So I guess it's no, but I guess that's the point is I guess there is it's Kali Yuga, and so attention span doesn't seem to be that long.
no.
So that's that's the issue that I see is that yeah, we have these nyasas and everything, but I mean, I think the more you do, the more people you'll lose, and the less people will be able to actually focus and be able to,
Yeah, you have to keep people's interest. You have to keep people's interest and try to be as authentic as possible. That's all. And you know, for instance, you can also decide. For instance, there's a whole lot of these nyasas that you do in preparation for doing something pure, like giving diksha or doing a puja or whatever it is, doing japa or something like that. So let's say you have to do something in public. You can also do these things in private before you come out to the public.
Ah, okay.
So like for
Yeah.
instance, if I had to do some very complicated thing where I had to do Buddha Shuddhi and all these things like that, instead of making people wait, before I even go out, before I even come towards them, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What about if you're doing mantra puja, or sorry, mantra japa? Like if you have, if you have to do like 10 times the number of the main mantras that you're offering into the homa.
This is Puruscharana. This is Puruscharana.
Aha.
Puruscharana means when you try to get in the city of the mantra, you do certain number of homas, certain number of 10 times. The japa is 10 times the homa, which is 10 times the tarpana, which is 10 times the number of Brahmins that you feed, and like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm going through that kind of. I guess I'm assuming that's what I'm very ignorant actually. I don't know.
It's in Hari Bhakti Vilas. It's in Hari Bhakti Vilas, 17th Vilas.
Yeah,
but you have to have a seat,
mantras.
a kurmasana.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Iyengar gave me some mantras, and he told me I have to chant them every day. And yeah, and then so he's kind of guiding me through this, as
good.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You just do what your teacher says. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
But if you want, we can go through Hari Bhakti Vilas and you can see what they say.
Okay. Yeah.
It may give some more elucidation. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm slowly
chapter.
working. I just started going through it. I just bought it when I was in Vrindavan recently.
Yeah. The other thing to know though is the people who translated that are not pujaris. They're not ritualists at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So even somebody like Gopi Puranadana, who was the chief Sanskrit editor in BBT, right? I was with him and studying with him in South India, and certain ritual texts, I would discuss certain things with him, but there's technical jargon in ritualism. For instance, a fire sacrifice, a standila, which is a homa kunda, right?
Yeah.
Has normally got 3 levels, yeah? Okay, so those 3 levels are called mekalas. But the word mekala means belt. So if a person knows Sanskrit, somebody knows Sanskrit and he sees the description, okay, you have to put a fire, and around the fire you have to put 3 belts.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what the word belt means in that sense.
You got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So so even though he knows perfect Sanskrit, but you need to have somebody who's familiar with the jargon, because when you learn Sanskrit, you learn the grammar first, and then you study a dictionary for your particular specialty. Mm-hmm. You just study a dictionary for Jyotish if you're an astrologer, a dictionary for ritualism if you're a Purohit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have to know, because it has different meanings. The words in Sanskrit have different meaning to a ritualist, Like if it's an Ayurvedic text and it talks about Vedanta, it means somebody without teeth. Because Ve means without, Danta means teeth. But if it's a philosophical book, it doesn't mean without teeth. It means the end of all knowledge. Vedanta means the end of all knowledge. Prabhupada gives that example. He says that Vedanta means 2 things. It means somebody, just like the word Dvija. Okay, Dvija means what? Dvija if you're reading a book on zoology, Dvija refers to birds. Birds are Dvijas. Because the bird is born twice. The egg is laid, and then the egg opens, so that the bird is born twice.
Or I guess also the story with Ramanujacharya, right? With the monkey's butt or something. What was that? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Ramanuja first of all went to the Gurukul in Kanchipuram of Yadava Prakash.
Yeah.
Yadava Prakash was a Beta Vardin. He was not a Vishishtadvaitin. He was not a Vaishnava. He was a Beta Vardin. Okay. There are different types of Beta Vardins. Okay. We can talk about it. But he was more or less a Mayavadi, you can say. Anyway, type of Beta Vada. Okay. So he was explaining one I think it's from Chandogya Upanishad, one section which says that the face of the Supreme Lord is just like, and he misunderstood the word Pundarikaksha to mean something to do with is as red as the face, the backside of a monkey.
Red.
Right. The face of the Lord is rosy red, like the backside of a monkey. So it's not a very flattering description. But the thing is, it can be interpreted in a different way.
Yeah.
It can be interpreted in a different way. It can be like a full-blown lotus.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ramanuja gave that explanation, and then his teacher understood that Ramanuja was more was able to understand the real meaning of the scriptures better than him. You know. Also, sometimes you read scriptures and there's a layer on top. You know, there's a layer on top, but there's a much deeper underneath meaning. There can be many deeper meanings. Deeper meanings. Yeah.
Which reminds me though, have you seen this book before for kids?
By Naimisharanya.
Yeah, have you seen that one?
That book by Naimisharanya on Ramanuja's life was copied it's copied from the Ramakrishna Mission book of the same title of the life of Ramanuja by Adi Devananda.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all many places. It's a word for word plagiarized copy of the Ramakrishna Mission version.
Oh, it is okay. Yeah. How is it? Is it okay? Like because I read it to my kids.
The thing, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. But the thing is that if you really want to know the life of Ramanuja or the life of any saint, right, like a Lord Chaitanya, whatever, you have to read the authentic texts. So for instance, I could tell, there's a book by Prabhupada, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and it's a summary study of Chaitanya Charitamrita. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is much more than that. You know, or you have, for instance, you have many different books that give the life of hagiography, means the life of saints. You give the life of Shankaracharya, there might be several different ones. Like the Bible gives the life of Jesus, but there's different. Sometimes there's a clash between one gospel and another gospel. They describe the same incident in a slightly different way, or might be completely different even. So the same thing with Chaitanya's life, Lord Chaitanya's life. There was a notebook by the devotee that went with him on the South Indian tour. Then there's Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat, right? Then there's Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's Chaitanya Chandrodaya. There's so many different, and they're not completely different, of course, but there might be few different details here and there, you know. That's the thing, and also there's a different emphasis too. Chaitanya Charitamrita has a lot more Sanskrit slokas in it as well as Bengali. It has a lot more philosophy in it, and Chaitanya Bhagavat has a lot more lila in it. So the same thing with the life of Ramanuja. There's Prapanamrita, there's Guru Parampara Prabhavam. There's a few different authentic books on the life of Ramanuja and different alwars and different people, and it depends on what you just see today, right? You get all these movies that come out of these great saints, and they'll be slightly different. Even you get even you get other not saintly movies. You get some other movie that comes out about that's based on a book, and you say, well, I read the book and I saw the movie, and the movie's not at all like the book.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like I saw the Titanic and I read the book and it's different, you know? And then the third, then there'll be a documentary about the making of the movie, and then then they'll ask the author of the book, what do you think? And he'll say, well, they took a lot of liberties with when they made the movie, they changed this. And so, you know, so if you want to get back to there's, of course, this poetic license, right, is what we call poetic license or artistic license, that an artist or a poet has some leeway to embellish things and make things nice, but maybe aren't so nice, you know. But at the same time, if we want to go back to authentic sources for things, we have to trace out what is the authentic source.
Got it.
You know?
Yeah, I was just wondering how
authentic.
Like,
okay, I'll give you an example. Just recently, Kalki, you know, Kalki Avatar from
yeah,
Vrinda.
I'm very close friends with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He posted something to me saying, here it says in Chandogya Upanishad that when you chant Gayatri, you have to chant Omkar at the beginning and Omkar at the end. In Chandogya Upanishad, he said it says that. So I said, well, I don't know anything about that. I'll have to look it up. So when I looked in Chandogya Upanishad, I looked in the commentary by Ranga Ramanuja, and I looked in the commentary by Madhvacharya, and I looked at the original, and I said it's not there in the original. It's not there in those commentaries. So maybe there's another acharya of some other sampradaya who says this. He's making a commentary.
Oh, and then it got attributed to the actual.
Yeah, but because you're only, you know, you read it in a book in English and then you cut it out and send it to me and say, this is what it says in Chandogya Upanishad. So shouldn't we be chanting Omkara at the end?
Yeah.
Yo Dyoyo Napachodyat Om. And I said, well, there are certain smartas I know who do that. There are some people who do that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I know, Sri Vaishnavas don't do it, and Gaudiya Vaishnavas don't do it. So I checked. I was also checking different prayogas by different people, and I couldn't find anybody except smartas who were doing it. So I said, I don't know why some smartas might do it. We have to do more research to find out, you know.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So you hear there's many rumors. There's many different things and whatever. But we always have to ask, what is the pramana? Where's the authoritative statement in scripture that says a particular thing? Yeah. And then we can check it out like that. I'm not against people. If people want to follow things which are, you know, there's also another thing called sistachara. Sistachara means what my ancestors did, you know. So for instance, my Sanskrit guru in Sri Rangam, Tirunarayana, right? When I first met him, he told me, he said, when I grew up as a kid, as a Brahmin, my father taught me Sandhya Vandanam without any swara, all the mantras without swara. Without any different tones like this.
Yeah.
And he said later on, I grew up, I was doing Sandhya Vandana, just ekaswara, ekashruti, you know, just one tone.
Yeah.
And he said, when I grew up, I found out that there were different swaras. And then I found that out. As soon as I found that out, I started to do it. And sometimes you'll find in these different books, they'll say, some people do this, some people do that, some people do this, some people think this because of that, and some people do that, and followers of this mutt do this, followers of that mutt do that, right? And then they'll say, at the end, they'll say, whatever your tradition is, you can follow your traditional gurus, you can follow your acharyas and everything like that. So that's normally what people say when they teach. They say, we're telling you this, and then there's different people who do this and do this and do this. So you can either take your pick of what we've taught you, or if your family does it in a slightly different way, it's not a problem. There's a completely wrong way of doing it, then they say, okay, and that's wrong. But if there's ritualism is an ocean. There's so many different ways to do weddings, there's so many different ways, you know.
So much.
It's
so overwhelming at first when you first, you know, start getting into trying to learn something. There's just so much stuff out there.
If you go and see any ritual done by anybody in India and you see the same ritual done by another person in India, there will be a difference for sure. It will not be exactly the same. There will be some difference. Even if it's the minutest difference, there'll be a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes big differences.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, it's incredible. But do you have any idea why he would do it in just without the swaras?
No, I don't know. I don't know his father. I never met his father, but maybe his father just, maybe his father learned that way. Who knows how long it's been going for.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that's scary too, I don't know if it's scary, maybe it's not scary, but just where I've had a few different weird instances is like, for instance, I was doing a ceremony for some Indian guy. And, I said, okay, we're going to start out by doing obstacle removing puja. We're doing Vishvakshena puja.
Yeah.
And he got really upset. And he said,
Ganesh first.
He said, Ganesh. He said, who is this Vishvakshena?
Right.
He's like, I've never heard of anyone named Vishvakshena. He said, only Ganesh ji, and he was he started getting really mad.
Right. But that's why you have to first, when you yajamanas, your sponsors, you have to talk to them and find out what tradition they're coming from and what they understand. But at the same time, one more thing about swaras also, there's a grammatical rule in Sanskrit that if you don't know the swaras, you can chant something ekashruti.
Okay.
You can chant it. It's okay to chant Vedas ekashruti if you don't know the swaras. So I should find that rule. I'll find that rule in Patanjali. But that's the thing. If you don't know the swaras, it's better not to guess, right? Just do ekashruti like that. It's available. All Buddhists, the Buddhists chant Sanskrit mantras too, and they chant all ekashruti.
Mm.
Yeah, because mostly they're not chanting Vedas because they don't believe in the Vedas, so it doesn't really matter. They're chanting ekashruti. So, but ritualism is an art form. It's more or less an art form. It's like cooking. If you don't know how to cook, you use a cookbook and you go step by step. When you know how to cook, when you know how to do puja, when you know how to do homa, you don't necessarily have the book next to you and do it step by step. You're doing it. You just do it. You know how to do it. You know parisechanam, you know ahuti, you know purnahuti, you know vasodhara, you know how to do it. So you do it like that. So sometimes you'll see that people are doing a prayoga, they're doing a procedure, and you ask them, where'd you learn that and everything? Like, it's Sudarshana Homa. We know how to do it. We just do it. Yeah. Mm. It's like somebody says to you, cooking oatmeal. Yeah, I know how to cook oatmeal. I don't need a book for that. I just do it.
Yeah. I learned how to do Ganesh puja after that. That's what I do. I always talk to people, and then then I learned all the Ganesh mantras also to be able to do Ganesh puja.
Yeah,
instead, just in case. I learned that lesson.
Ganesh puja is there in Haribhakti Vilas and in Krishna Janma Titi Vidi. Ganesh puja. Ganananam dva ganapatigum havamahe. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not wrong according to those books. According to Sakriya Sar, it's wrong. So if you have somebody else who wants you to follow Sakriya Sar and they're very determined not to do it, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we are, as priests, we can recommend things to our sponsors, but we also have to take into consideration their wishes, like that. So if somebody says to me, of course, if somebody says to me, I want to do an animal sacrifice and kill a goat and everything, I say, no, it's okay. You find yourself another priest. That's okay. But so there, you have to have a line that you draw, but you can also mention to them, oh, you don't need to do that. You can offer ghee into the fire instead of killing the animal. I mean, there's one student of mine, Lakshman in Spain. He does pujas. He does Durga puja for the Bengali community in Spain. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be afraid to try something like that.
He's from Argentina, right? So when it comes to that point, they cut a fruit. They get a fruit and they cut it.
Wow. Okay.
So the Madhvas do a similar thing. They make pista animals. They make animals out of dough and offer them in the fire.
Mm.
So you can do it. It's possible.
Wow.
In Hari Bhakti Vilas, in making a temple and installing the deity in Hari Bhakti Vilas, there are certain devatas that have to be worshipped, and it mentions in Hari Bhakti Vilas that this deity has to be given fish. This deity has to be given beef. Has to be offered this. Yeah, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, and it says, but as Vaishnavas, we don't do that. We offer sweet rice instead.
Wow. Okay. Oh, that's neat.
But the traditional offering, is meat for those deities. It mentions it. It says
it. Here in our community in Alachua, we have this Indian devotee that will do like all the ceremonies for the Indian congregation.
Okay.
Somehow or other, and they've actually, whenever he's out of town or whatever, they've asked me if I'm willing to do. But after I had that experience with that one guy getting so angry, I always tell them, no, I'd prefer not to do any for the Indian congregation. I basically just want to do them for the devotees. But
who is that?
Or other, I can't remember how.
Ram Swarup?
No, actually, Ram Swarup, Krishna Swarup, just moved back recently.
Yeah.
So we have some other devotee. His name is Sakshi Gopal. Okay. He's from Jagannath Puri, I think. He's from Odisha.
Okay.
Yeah, and he does really well with the Indian congregation. But somehow or other, I met some South Indians. I can't remember where they're from, though. And they asked me to do some ceremony for them, some Griha Pravesh ceremony and everything. And I had such a different experience with them. They were just so sweet. And they were so happy with the ceremony. In the end, they said, actually, you even did more than what the priests do in South India, where we're from. Actually, for these Griha Pravesh, they were actually feeling like it was very,
well, the thing is also, okay, you have to understand that there are different priests in different parts of India and different communities in different parts of India. So, if you have people who want to worship Jagannath, or they want to do things in an Orисsan way or a Bengali way or whatever it is like that, then they appreciate the people from their community. But like that, but the South Indians have a completely different system of puja, a lot of different systems. Especially North and South India, they do a lot of things differently. Sometimes I've seen in the West, I've seen many North Indian priests who are not very learned at all, and they keep chanting the same sloka over and over again and doing things, and they don't really follow. So I'm not saying that all North Indian priests are like that, but the South Indian priests that I've seen are much more well-trained in that sense.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that North Indian priests can't be well trained. They can, but there are different traditions, and there are different methods and things. So sometimes people want an Indian priest. Sometimes they don't want an Indian priest because maybe the Indian priest is not from a community that meshes with their culture. So it's possible. I don't know. So yeah, it's very difficult to know because people have their own regional and cultural differences that they have with their pujas and things like that. There are some pujas which are in North India that are not in South. I mean, I was discussing with my Sanskrit professor, I think it was yesterday or something like that, that in South India at Diwali they don't light lamps at night. They don't necessarily light lamps at night at Diwali. Diwali's lighting lamps, right? Huh. But they have a big lamp. They have a big lamp at the temple, but they don't necessarily light a lot of lamps. But the other times of the day, in South India, Diwali is a Krishna festival. In North India, it's a Rama festival.
Interesting.
Rama and Lakshmi, right? So for the Gujaratis, they will do Lakshmi Puja, and they start their financial year, and the Marwaris and the North Indians worship. They think, oh, Lord Rama is coming back to Ayodhya in his Pushpa Vimana, and we're lighting the way for him to come and land in Ayodhya and become our king, right? And in South India, they're commemorating Diwali as the day that Krishna kills Banasura.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
in North India, they're letting off fireworks at night. And in South India, they're letting off fireworks in the early morning before dawn.
Huh. Wow. That's
They're doing
interesting.
everything opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the calendars are different. Like you follow Kartik in North India, right? And as a amanta, some month that ends in Amavasya, and then in South India you have a month that ends in Purnima. So you finish doing your Kartik in North India, you come to South India, it's still Kartik's still going for another 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or you have
I didn't know that.
different calendars. Like in 1966, there was a year when the Ranganath Swami temple celebrated Ram Navami 1 month different than the rest of India.
Oh my goodness. Huh.
Because of the
Wow.
way they calculate things.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of anything like this? One time I was doing an initiation, just a small initiation ceremony. I think it was just for, it may have been for just like 2 people or something like that. I think it was Bhakti Marg Swami. And but the people were Indian devotees. And afterward, the lady, she made sure her guru was nowhere around, and she came to yell at me because she said that the way I laid down the wood, to start the fire, she said it was only for burning dead bodies.
What'd you do? TP?
I think I did a teepee, yeah.
Don't do TP.
Don't do teepee. Oh,
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, I haven't done a teepee in years, actually, just because, but I had no idea that
Yeah.
was.
But actually TP is interesting because I don't understand. If you have a teepee, how do you put a body on top of a teepee?
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because every time I've ever seen a dead body burning, it's the wood's actually always flat.
Right. Well, it has to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it either. But anyway, so what I do is most people are not going to have a big problem with this, everybody's got their little idea. Everybody has their idea of their detail is the most important, right?
Yeah.
The story Prabhupada tells about the cat in the basket, right? You know the story?
No.
Okay, so Bhaktisiddhanta told a story, which Prabhupada told, that there was a lady who had a daughter, and her daughter grew up, maybe in Bengal or something like that. Her daughter grew up, and she wanted to arrange for the daughter to get married. So she arranged everything really nicely, the yagshala and the whole thing. But then at a certain point, just before the marriage ceremony was about to start, the mother saw there was a cat. There was a little cat that was walking through the yagshala. So the mother went and got the cat, picked the cat up and put it in a basket. Right? So when that girl grew up, she had daughters of her own and she wanted to arrange for their wedding. So when she arranged for their wedding, she specifically made sure there was a cat. And at a certain point, the cat walked across and she picked it up and put it in a basket. So it became a tradition. And there's another story like this that I heard in South India. There's a Brahmin and his son, and the Brahmin and his son, they go to the river every day and they take bath and they do Sandhya Vandanam at the river. The little boy has got a little red ball. And the Brahmin, they go to the river, they take bath, right? And they do Sandhya Vandanam. But while they're taking bath, the Brahmin puts his Panchapatra on the bank of the river, and to make sure the ball doesn't roll away, he takes the red Panchapatra, the red ball, and puts it in the Panchapatra. So there's all these other Brahmins also taking bath in the river with their children. So he does this, the first day he does this and he puts the ball in. The next day when he goes, every Brahmin on the bank has got a Panchapatra with a red ball in it. Because all those other Brahmins, they saw him and they thought, oh, he's very orthodox Brahmin. Whatever he does must be really correct. So therefore, he's got a red ball in his Panchapatra, so I also should have a red ball in my Panchapatra. But they don't know why. right? So the moral of the story is that these other Brahmins and this lady, they're doing something, they're doing some ritual, but they don't know the reason why. They have no pramana for it. Like Rameshwara. Rameshwara was a guru in ISKCON, right? Rameshwara. It's from New York.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So he said to me one time in Italy, he said to me, how does the guru take the sins of the disciple away at Diksha? And I said, oh, you're a guru, you should know. I mean, you tell me, right? What's your idea, right? I asked him, right? So he said, well, in my zone, obviously it was something he thought, but also he said, in my zone, they say, when you offer the grains into the fire, when the grains are burned up, right, then the sins are burned up. I said, well, that's a really nice analogy. That's a great analogy. I like that analogy. I said, but grains are not sins. And he goes, no, grains are sins. Grains are sins. That's why we don't eat grains on Ekadasi.
That's what I thought you were going to say at that point. I thought, well, Ekadashi, maybe
Then I said, okay, don't eat grains on Ekadasi. I said, but what about every other day of the year? You're eating grains. Are you eating sins? I said, only on Ekadasi. Only on Ekadasi, the grains have it's sinful, right? I said, other days we're eating grains. So if you're correct, if all grains are all sins, then why should we eat grains? We shouldn't eat grains then, because they're all sins.
Ekadashi every day.
Right. So then he was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. I said grains are not sins, and I said burning up the grains as being like burning up the sins. That's a very nice analogy, but that's not the philosophical understanding. The philosophical understanding is that by divine knowledge, the sin of the disciple is destroyed. Right? Divya Jnanam Yato Dadyat Kurya Papasya Samshayam Tasmat Diksha Disaprakta Deshikais. That's the definition of Diksha. Something is given. Diyate means to give. Shiyate means to destroy. What is given is divine knowledge. What is destroyed is sin. Like that. Right? And the divine knowledge is in the form of the mantra. Okay. But anyway, so that's the point. So the thing is, people know, they see things, they hear things, they hear rumors, they see things, they hear this idea. And then I always ask, my question is, okay, that's nice, but where's the pramana for that in Shastra? Where's the authoritative statement in Shastra that says that?
So there is no thing about the teepee then, is there?
I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't
probably
think.
not.
But
I guess just to avoid, some people getting upset, it's probably better not to do the teepee anyway.
I mean, when I was just in Sri Rangam, I was around somebody, and they were really uptight sort of person like that. And when I said goodbye, I said Hare Krishna, and they said, "Don't say Hare Krishna, say Jai Shriman Narayana." I'm like, because it's Sri Rangam, like that. I'm going, Leah, what's the difference? Who cares? It's sort of like Prabhupada when Prabhupada was in Hyderabad, and somebody said, Swamiji, we should chant Hare Rama, Rama Rama first. Prabhupada said, yeah, okay, go ahead. It doesn't matter, And then he also said, you can read it in some of the things. He said, some people when they're chanting Hare Rama, they think of Ramachandra. Some people, they think of Balarama. Maybe some people think of Parasurama. Did you know in Bhagavad Gita, this is very interesting, Bhagavad Gita, I think it's in the 11th chapter, 10th chapter or 11th chapter. Krishna says, of wielders of weapons, I am Rama. So, which Rama?
Which Rama?
Parasurama, Balarama, Dasarathi Rama. Which Rama? Which Rama? Okay? So different commentators say different things. If you look, I looked at Narayan Maharaj's translation. I looked at Sridhar Maharaj's translation. I looked at. If you look at Prabhupada's translation, maybe people say different things.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean one person is right, one person is wrong, because the word is only Rama. the purport, in the purport, the person who's writing the purport has a realization that when Krishna says of what wielders of weapons, I'm Rama, he means Parasurama.
Yeah.
Or maybe he means Ramachandra. Or maybe he means Balarama. According to that person's, that person's realization. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are other examples, many other examples of this, and that's why you read different commentaries by people, and they have their ideas, and you can decide for yourself. You can decide.
Yeah, I really appreciate how you're always emphasizing that, that you have to have a scriptural reference. I really appreciate that. I mean, I have a very difficult time with it because I'm pretty ignorant. I haven't done a lot of reading yet. But I really appreciate how you're always pointing that out. And I really, I think it was a few years back, you posted a commentary, you made comments on a conversation, I think that Bhaktivedya Purna Swami had with someone, in which he kept on, he wasn't quoting scripture at all. And you kept saying, where's the scriptural reference? And I read that whole thing. There were a few times in it too. You had me almost in tears though, where it was kind of funny. Some of the things you were saying. I think that was the one where he says something like if I cook pasta and bring it to you, is that cooking? And you said, I'm having a hard time seeing how that's relevant, but I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I do remember there was a discussion all about women and stuff that was where he was saying,
that's what the main part of it was. Yeah, and he was just saying they can't do it because if they do, they'll make small fires and all kinds of things that didn't really make any sense.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, there's some people who talk about, you talk to some professional cooks also in the cooking industry, and they'll say all the best cooks, all the greatest cooks are men. The women just get in and they just play. They're not really, it's in English we call it misogyny. Okay. It's just thinking that your gender is better than the other gender or something. Okay. Maybe for some things it might be true also. We don't, okay. But, the problem is that if there's a saying in English also, if you live in a glass house, you shouldn't throw stones. Okay.
Yeah.
So for instance, I don't presume to teach people Veda mantras. I don't presume to teach people, things that are more, that I know that they're, like I said, I'm like a one-eyed uncle or a blind uncle. I'm, people come to me and ask me a question. If I don't know the answer, I say, I don't know the answer. And also, if I know some answer, I'll give you some answer, but I'll say, probably there's a better answer. But since I'm the only one that will answer the question for you, I'll give you my answer. But please look somewhere else for some other answer and accept the answer that you have faith in, Don't necessarily accept what I have to say. And if I do say something, I'll say, okay, here, if you really want to know, I will give you the Sanskrit and I'll give you the understanding or the interpretation of what it means, the authoritative statement. But look, don't think everybody everybody believes the same. That's why there's different sampradayas. That's why there's different sects. That's why there's, okay, Madhvas and Sri Vaishnavas, and they ultimately, we all agree on worshiping, all Vaishnavas agree on, even the Smartas, they worship Narayana, okay, they worship Vishnu, Krishna. You get Advaitins, they worship Krishna. There's a guy in Bengal called Madhusudana Saraswati. He was a Mayavadi sannyasi. He's one of the greatest God. He loves Krishna and he wants to worship Krishna like anything like that. He's a great worshiper of Krishna, but I mean, look at Shankaracharya, Bhaja Govinda, but at the same time, they're Mayavadis. So do we quote Bhaja Govindam? Yeah, we do. It's a great stotra by Shankaracharya, but do we follow Shankaracharya 100%? No, not 100%. But some things he said were correct. Some things he said are right. Some things he said are nice, like that. So Some things I say are nice. Some things Bhaktivedanta Purana Swami says are nice. Many things that we all say are nice. Do you have to follow me 100%? No. Do you have to follow Bhaktivedanta Purana 100%? No. You know, you should have your own discrimination. you should study. Don't take somebody else's word for it. If I say anything to you, don't take my word for it. Ask me. Okay, give it to me in writing. Show me where it is in the Shastra. You know, show me what the different interpretations are. Let me make up my own mind about whether I agree with you or not. That's fine. I totally accept that. I want people to do that. That's why I have the people on the WhatsApp group. You know, I have Madhvas, I have Smartas, I have Sri Vaishnavas, I have Gaudiyas, I have mostly Gaudiyas, but you know, I have Nimbarkas, I have different people. You know, they don't all agree.
Yeah.
On everything. You know.
For sure.
Well, it's only on the details usually. Mostly the main things we all agree on. So the most important thing is if we have disagreements, we should first of all focus on what we have in common. Where we have a disagreement, we can talk about it and we can see why we have that disagreement. We can see what the details are of that. And then we can decide. Somebody can decide whether they want to, whether they have total faith in that particular thing, or whether they think, oh, yeah, that's another way of understanding it, whether they can appreciate. At least we should appreciate other Vaishnavas, you know? We appreciate them. I appreciate all other Vaishnavas, no matter what they believe, you know?
Yeah.
Because mostly it's all details, and the details a lot of times don't matter, you know? Sometimes they matter, but, you know, that's the thing. With ritualism, it's all about details. And when you talk to somebody who, it's like when you learn from a master cook, you know, if you learn from somebody who's a master cook, you go in the kitchen and you ask them, oh, you're cooking, but you're not measuring anything. You're not looking at the exact temperature of the stove. What you didn't time what you were doing. Well, how are you cooking? How are you cooking? Like that. Because they know how to cook. They know how to cook, so they just cook. So if you want to learn you can't learn from them sometimes because they're artists.
They're too expert, yeah.
Yeah, they're too expert. So you need to learn from a cookbook. You need to learn step-by-step prayogas. So all these prayogas that we present to people on the WhatsApp or whatever through email, right? These are just guidelines, you know. And people have to learn. They have to learn how to do puja. They have to learn how to do rituals, and they're going to learn, and they're going to do it in their way. And their way is going to be also nice, as long as there are certain things that they don't do, right? That's fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. It's going to be a little different. You know, everybody's cooking is a little different. Everybody's puja is a little different.
For sure.
It's an art form. Definitely an art form.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And the Lord appreciates it. He appreciates it in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But you know, like Prabhupada also, another example with Pradyumna. I heard this story. I'm not, you know, I don't remember where I heard it. Maybe I heard it from Pradyumna himself. But in the beginning, there was not much ritualism, and Pradyumna was reading Hari Bhakti Vilas, and Prabhupada said, "Okay, whatever you read, you have to do it. Don't just read it, and it's just, you know." If you read it, do it like that. And so Pradyumna said, I read that the pujari should have a mat and he should stand on a mat. When I became a pujari, first of all, we used to walk in the deity room and we'd stand on bare floor.
Yeah.
There was no mats,
you
know, and people would do dandavat pranams when they're offering prasadam even sometimes. You see
on the altar.
Of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, so then why did that change? Well, Pradyumna said, oh, I read about this mat. You sit on a mat, you know, like that. And Prabhupada said, okay, introduce it. I mean, when I first became a devotee, there was no tulsi. There was no tulsi puja. And they started worshiping a tree. I was going to the temple and all of a sudden they start worshiping this tree. I said, oh, from now on, we're going to have tree worship. I'm like, wow, this is a little out there, you know? You know, so I'm like, what? So, I mean, I can take you to South India and show you stuff like that today. I'll take you to Udupi and you see them do the Nagamandala, you know, where they do this Nagamandala. The guy goes into trance and a Buddha goes into his body, and the head Madhvacharya guy asked him, did I do a good job in the last 2 years of managing the temple? And the Buddha will, through this guy, will say to him, yes or no, you did a good job of managing.
Oh my gosh.
So we can introduce this in ISKCON, right? We can introduce this in ISKCON. We do Naga Mandala Puja every year and have a guy go into trance, and the Buddha will go into his body and tell the GBC if they've made some good decisions or not.
Oh, another thing I think that we were that it'd be nice to learn more about is, I guess, the changing of the pavitra, of the Brahmin thread. Yeah. Just as a reminder, something we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Right. At some point, if you could, give us more information on that, I would love to hear.
Yeah,
maybe
there's a simple, small ceremony. Yagya Pavitra Dharma.
Yeah.
Yagya Pavitra Dharma Mantrasya Parama Brahma Rishihi Anasuja, like that. You know the mantra. Yagyo Pavitam Paramam Pavitam Prajapatehi Yat Sahajam Purasta Adim. Ayushamagram Padimunchi Subram Yagyo Pavitam Balamastu Tejaha. You put it on, and there's another mantra to take it off.
Oh wow! Yeah, you see, I've never heard of anything like that. All I've been doing is just taking my old one off and putting my new one on.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Yeah, okay. So that's why Devarishi was talking about Upakarma. Once a year you're supposed to do
once
Upakarma.
A year doing the big ceremony, yeah.
Yeah, but that includes that. There's a part of that is the Yagya Pavitra Dharma.
And the Upakarma is generally done, isn't it done at the temple with or it can be done at the temple with all of the brahmanas, or is it you can do it at home on your own?
Yeah. See, I will find that in ISKCON probably they're more, because it's Balaram's appearance, they're probably more focused on doing Balaram things than
doing Balaram. Yeah.
So you just do it at home.
Yeah.
But when we used to go to Udupi, and I had a friend who was a big Madhva Pandit called Banaji Govindacharya, and he used to organize an Upakarma ceremony at his house for all the people all the Brahmins in his neighborhood, and I would go there, and
wow.
I would participate in it as well.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then he had 2 sons, and his sons would be there, and there's a part in the ritual where they give up the Vedas, and another part where they accept the Vedas back again, like that. And he said my kids, they always stay for the giving up the Vedas part, and then they leave. They get bored, and then they don't wait for taking the Vedas back again. So
yeah.
And then the next day you're supposed to do extra Gayatri Japa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's Upakarma is a thing once a year, but then again the Yagya Pavitra Dharma is important because maybe you break the thread, or it gets dirty, or it gets
Yeah.
You can change it other times. There's many times you change it. In fact, at the beginning of many rituals, when they choose the priests, they will give the priests a dhoti, right? They will give the priest a dhoti, and they will give a priest also another Brahmin thread, new Brahmin thread.
And you switch it then also.
Yeah, before you start a new ceremony.
Interesting. Okay.
A lot of times, yeah.
With I've been talking with Ramanya Prabhu at the temple about doing Upakarma at the temple, because he's always stressed out, because he's always getting stressed out at the temple because he always sees somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing or something, or he's always really upset, because he's like, oh, what are they doing? They're doing this, so and so. This is offensive. I don't know. He's always up in arms about something. And so then, I was mentioning that, maybe we can do Upakarma together at the temple, with all the Brahmins from the temple. It's just something we've talked about, because then that way, I guess just as a way to, for everybody to kind of just refocus and.
Yeah, everybody's not. Yeah, Upakarma is like recharging the Brahma Tejas. Imagine your Brahma Tejas is like a rechargeable battery.
Yeah.
So you go through the whole year, and your lithium battery gets down to 10%, and then Upakarma you recharge it at Upakarma. So
okay.
That's what it's really sort of supposed to be. But the thing is not everybody wants to do things, especially in a community like Alachua, where you have a lot of older Prabhupada disciples. You would have people who want to only do what they have heard before Prabhupada told them to do blah, blah, blah. And, and there are some people who are more open to adding more, you know, Vaishnava culture or rituals to their life and everything, but there are other people that are not. So that's okay. So more or less, I've seen even in many places in India. I mean, in some places, I had a guy that I hired during the Matsya project. He was a Smarta Brahmin from Palgat, who was a photographer. So I hired him to do microfilming of manuscripts, and he belonged to a place called Palgat in Kerala, which is known for being a Brahmin town, right? And for Upakarma there, they have the ceremony put on cable TV for the whole town.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
wow.
So people just, you know, that's the same thing in some places in South India too. It's anything that is like in Sri Rangam, Vaikuntha Ekadasi Festival is on local TV. The whole thing is broadcast 24 hours a day on local TV. So
Wow.
so there'll be a channel which is just, the cable guys will just make a new channel and just broadcast the whole thing of rituals that are going on in town that day. So, you know, so it depends upon the community. Okay. If you want to do a community thing, you have to do it for that community. So if everyone in the community agrees, fine. But I don't think in Alachua, everybody in the community is going to agree to do Upakarma.
Yeah. I think we could get a lot of people to agree though. I've actually been very surprised how encouraging, how encouraging people have been, you know, to me as I've began to learn and you know, all the ceremonies that I've done and whatever. I guess maybe partially because I'm well liked in this community. I think, you know, because I'm a second generation. I've lived in this community since I was 8 years old. And so I find Prabhupada disciples generally with me, they're very encouraging because I think they're just happy that, you know, that I've taken it up. Whereas a lot of my friends, you know, are drinking alcohol and doing so many things. So I think that in general, they're just very encouraging with me because they're just happy that I've, you know, led the life that I have.
Yeah,
and made the decisions that I mean,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing in India too. There are Brahmins that drink alcohol. There are Brahmins who've given up many things.
Yeah.
There are many people, even Vaishnavas, who are, you know, doing different things, you know. So it's okay. What we have to do is we want to see all the good in other people, and we want to try to encourage that. And if the other people have some faults, if they're able to hear some good advice about their faults, then we can advise them. If we're in a position to advise them, not always juniors can advise seniors, but if we know the person isn't open to certain advice like that, then there's no point. There's no point in agitating people. You know, we have to, my Sanskrit teacher also said the truth has to be told, but it has to be told in a palatable way. If you can't tell
otherwise
it in a
there's no point, right? There's no point because you're not really gaining anything from it.
No, what's the point? I don't want to argue with other people over some little thing like that when we have 99% of everything that we believe in, we agree with, right? And then 1%, you know, I have friends, you know, they believe the world is flat and, you know, other things like that. They believe all sorts of things. I have people I've known for many, many years. They have some slightly different opinions. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't talk to them about that. If I don't agree with you, I don't want to talk to you about it.
I heard some interesting joke in that regard. Two Christian guys run into each other, and one of them says like, "Oh, you're saved," you know, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm saved." Like, "Oh, are you a Southern Baptist? You know, this, that." "Yeah, I'm also Southern Baptist." Like, "Oh, are you, you know, this," and they just keep going, asking so many different questions. And then in the end, they were like, "Oh, do you agree in this one change in the from, you know, 1837 and this?" And like, "Oh, no, I don't." And then the other guy's like, "Burn at the stake, you heretic." You know, so it's like, you know, they were 99.9% exactly the same, but they were ready to, you know, like burn each other at the stake, you know, as soon as there was one minor little detail that was different.
Right. And people don't see the difference. See, like in India, does the general public know the difference between Madhu Pandit's Ritvik Temple in Bangalore and ISKCON Mayapur? Do they see is there any difference to them? To the general public? To the general public. You know, Madhu Pandit's got Akshaya Patra. He's feeding people. Mayapur, Chandradai, they're feeding people. They're all chanting Hare Krishna. They're all Hare Krishnas. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Most people don't see the difference. They don't know the difference. But for people on the inside, they think, oh, there's such a big difference. No, not really.
Yeah. No, I got to go visit that temple actually just like a few months ago. What an incredible temple actually there in Bangalore.
Yeah.
Seva Tool Prabhu took me there.
Yeah. South Indians do good puja. Doesn't matter what sampradaya they're in, they do good puja.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot, even from South Indian smartas. And North Indians too. There are some people who do some good puja, but wow. I've seen some things in South India. Smartas are even more, you know. They do some far pujas and things. Amazing.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's neat. Well, I better run. I have to go take care of my cows and then play sports with my children during this whole COVID-19 thing. That's one of the things we've been doing. We do sports every single day.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. It's been so incredible talking to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I really
let me know in advance the topics, and we can go more deeply, because if I just off the top of my head, I'm going to make mistakes for sure. The other day somebody asked me about something, and I described angulas and hasta, and I said this was a hasta. This is not a hasta. This is a hasta. So you know, so I made a mistake. So better to let me know ahead of time what we're going to talk about. So I think I know.
Bhuta Shuddhi for sure.
Sure.
But I'm doing a ceremony tomorrow, so I won't be here tomorrow. You said you're doing every day?
I have a morning class every day with my Sanskrit teacher. So I'm back
on Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, maybe I can do it on Sunday. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Sunday, Monday, every day except for Wednesday next week. Thank you so much.
All right.